Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados right here on Thinking Critical YouTube, the best damn comic book podcast and YouTube show that you're ever going to find about comic books. Going to have a fun conversation today. We got a lively panel. These guys would not shut up behind the scenes. I just had to go live. Sometimes you just got to make a bold decision.
We were talking about Jimmy's Kegels.
Jesus Christ!
Wait, the weights, right?
That is a true statement, Doc.
I am so
look
I
at Josh.
leave.
He's flush.
I want to leave.
All right. Well, speaking of Jimmy, we've got Jimmy from Comic Works. How you doing, Jimmy?
Good. How you doing?
Your exercises are over.
Oh, sorry. Is this not the Brendan Fraser lookalike contest? I gotta go.
Oh my goodness, he's doing some more weightlifting. So obviously we got Jimmy from Comic Works. If you haven't subscribed to Comic Works, you're out of your mind. He's got a great video that we're going to talk about later on the show, talking about his god tier comic book writers. We're going to discuss it. Who else have we got here? We've got the Procurator of Lust, the man behind Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California, Yul Carter. How you doing, Yul?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me on.
This man behind the scenes is a animal.
Wait.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, comics are good. Get comics.
Apparently, you got chastised by an all-time great, no longer living comic creator.
Yeah, I got explained to by
Dan
Will
Slott?
Eisner.
Mansplained?
No, Dan explained to
You got
Will
Dan
Eisner.
slotted?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't see him on your list. I don't remember Will Eisner on your list.
That was
he
shocking,
there,
to be
Jimmy?
honest. When I saw the list and there's no Will Eisner.
Oh my
That was
God,
like the-
Will Eisner, Mouse.
Okay, guys, you know what? I did this all from memory. You know
talking
like
about you had like this
you had
thing on the
pictures.
screen.
you know when someone
There's
says
no
name,
memory there.
Hold
You
the
know what?
fuck up.
You know when someone says name every movie you've ever seen, and then you just forget every movie you've ever seen.
Wait,
That's
hold
kind of
on.
like
Someone said name your favorite director. I wouldn't be like, well, screw Spielberg. I'm talking about Tarantino. I mean, obviously he's good. Or
You know what I do when I'm going to make a top 5 of all time? I just do it off the top of my fucking head, and I don't bother to actually just like write a list ahead of time.
he had Doc. He's lying. He had an entire spreadsheet with faces, and he moved them into the tiers. It was interactive.
Doc, you're supposed to watch it.
I didn't do that.
You did not watch it.
This is how I get bot views. Is come onto this podcast thing.
Well, hopefully we get you plenty of bot views. We do have a super chat already. Let's talk about Lane Kramer. Today, Ultra Geek Power West and Super Grump Level 4 Doc lead the charge against Jordan White and his Legion of Doofuses for the fate of the Planet Marvel today. We did that last week. We had a couple of great videos on there. I hope everyone enjoyed those. And thank you so much for supporting the channel. I don't think we'll talk about Jordan White too poorly this week.
I don't like
we
Jordan's
like what he
last
did.
name. It's a bit much for me.
Yeah.
As an Irishman.
Who else we got? We got Drew from Comics Elite. Is the Kickstarter still up? It was a really big success.
Yes, it was. Yeah, we finished at 73,800 for the second one we launched. So it's like almost 170,000 two Kickstarters I had in the last 2 months. It's been nuts, but yeah, it's been a fantastic week.
Fantastic.
How were your comments? Did you read anything good, or we have anything to talk about tomorrow?
Oh, I got stuff to talk about. Oh yeah, plenty.
We're gonna have a best of list tomorrow. That'll be good. Also, we've got Josh McDonald. You don't look nearly as tired as last time.
No, I'm well rested. I was off this week. I had some drama, but and then today, I mean, nothing makes me blush like a man's vagina. So, starting things off right.
Jimmy doing his Kegels behind the scenes.
I am convinced every time I come on here, I am unequipped to talk to you guys because I don't get any sleep. Wes, ask me how many hours I slept.
I don't know how many. Hours did you sleep?
None.
Why not? Are you nervous? Why would you be nervous about that?
I just every time I go to bed and I go, oh, I have Wes in the morning, and then I go, oh, fuck.
You have Wes, huh?
Then I go,
Jimmy, I got a
Doc
secret. That's a you problem, not an us problem.
It wasn't me.
No, it's a Doc problem. He pisses me off.
Well,
you're welcome.
Why don't you get sleep, dude?
Yeah.
I made a
so
video
young and
at I made a video like 2 hours ago called drunk comic book reading. That should be out in about a half hour.
So is this hungover comic book panel?
Oh, I wasn't drunk at all.
Well, then, what the fuck? That's
Guys,
false
this is
advertising.
not suitable for children. This is. I don't want to like throw it out there. You gotta.
You just
Doc,
did, I think.
Doc's not gonna watch the whole video anyways.
Well,
So what's the point?
Wait. How
Whatever.
blitz were you when you were making that video that you did?
On a scale.
By
of
everything I
1
can see, it was a Strawberry Hill kind of night. You know what I'm saying? Boone's Farm?
It was like Heath Ledger and what's the other guy's name from Brokeback Mountain?
Jake
Gyllenhaal.
Jakey Gyllenhaal.
And Mysterio kind of night.
There you go.
Oh, I see.
All right, last but
Joker
not
and-
least, Doc. It's been an eventful day already on the Comics Aficionados. How you doing, buddy?
I'm still sitting here thinking about the Joker and Mysterio doing a sequel to Brokeback Mountain with now, and that's gonna be penetrating into my brain for the next like 12 hours. And fuck you, Jimmy, for putting it there.
Wait, what?
Penetrating, huh?
I'm reading
Yes.
the comment about a guy not liking me, and I'm just laughing. I'm like, oh,
I
dude,
think
you got 2 hours.
MVP's a great guy. He's just bust your McNuggets, buddy.
Oh,
Jimmy's
I'm not
gonna-
upset. I'm not
He's
upset.
gonna calm down and he's gonna sober up about halfway through the show. I guarantee it.
It's not gonna happen. We know it's not gonna happen.
We got Callum Lyle. Do you think it's ironic how Tennessee, the birthplace of a group Ezra, 3 genders Miller, declared war on banned mouse? Sounds like Holocaust now. Well, I don't think Tennessee did. It was a school district in Tennessee, and they didn't really ban the book outright. They removed it from a curriculum, but
It was a very small district, like one small district in Tennessee.
it was just like a
Oh,
little.
there were like
town.
5 votes that made it that way or
it's
something.
10.
I'll be
Like-
perfectly honest. I've been reading comics for almost all my life, and I don't see how any comic needs to be in a fucking school curriculum. So,
Well, I mean,
No, I went
it
to college.
depends. I mean, it was in college. I mean, for most people, they're trying to expand it so that
Yeah.
they have an easier time teaching in school.
sorry, but look, I just
You want
don't.
to talk about World War II? Let me give you this mouse comic book.
Yeah, I just still I don't see how any comic needs to be in a school curriculum for like primary and high school. Sorry, I just
No, I
don't-
agree.
com-
I mean, how far do you go?
Well,
on
couldn't
that
disagree
then,
with you more there, Doc.
Yeah,
Okay.
completely
Put fucking
disagree.
Charlie Brown on it then.
No,
too.
I don't.
Maybe Golden
totally
Books.
agree.
This is
with
the
you
first
there.
time accounting of someone surviving the Holocaust, Doc. Like it's a story that really happened.
Well, not firsthand.
I
Well,
understand.
it is because he talked to his father. The
Well, the
accounting is
character,
from his
yeah.
father.
So that's. I think that is. There's a term for that. I can't think of
It's
it.
He
it's
must be really old if he
biographical.
survived.
Yes.
If you're telling,
Biographical, not autobiographical.
yeah, well, there's the son component that definitely makes it a biographical comic.
Yes.
You're talking. So we're gonna just put in schools everybody's memoirs. It's like, oh, I wrote a memoir. Who the fuck are you? It doesn't matter. It's a memoir about me I hit my head against the wall all the time.
I
You
think
know,
the
well,
World War
it's
II and the
cool.
Holocaust are a pretty significant event that people should read.
It
up
is,
on.
but how about reading a book?
You can
It
read
is a
look,
book. It's a
hold
graphic
on.
novel.
Now, see, this is where I get into a problem. I mean, so what? So
Hold on.
what? I
Hold
mean,
on,
come
hold on,
on.
hold on,
You know,
hold
the
on.
thing is people don't read.
Look, I'm not saying you shouldn't. You should definitely have comic books, graphic novels, whatever you want to call it, in a curriculum, even for elementary and high school, because it teaches kids a different form of media. And as people who love comic books, we should want to establish some sort of legitimacy to comic books. Not only that, there have been studies that people that have learning disabilities and have trouble reading actually improve their reading by reading comic books. So there's multiple reasons you should have it in there.
Why are you calling me out?
I
Dropping
get,
the mic.
I
All right,
get
we're not talking about this, Doc. I already did a video on it. We
fine.
got an entire panel to go through, and we got a pretty significant super chat from Eric O'Sullivan, $25. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. That's very generous. He says, I'm all right, but I'm in day 4 of isolation. I tested positive for the coof last Tuesday, feeling okay, yet grateful for everything and everyone here on the panel today. I'm watching you and 80s movies. Cheers, and thanks for the company. Man, 80s movie. I hope you're talking about like Commando or something great like that. You know what I mean?
What, not like John Cusack movies?
I'm watching
Man,
Missing in Action.
Say anything? Is that the one where he's got
Well, that's
the
one of them.
boombox.
Yeah.
yeah.
Better Off Dead. You need to watch
Absolutely.
Better Off Dead.
I
Better
hope,
Off
I
Dead,
hope,
yeah.
I hope Eric gets better, and I hope
Absolutely.
it has a 98% survival rate. I just hope all that.
99.4, but close.
Yeah, I've seen
I don't
pictures of
read.
Eric. He's a younger man. He's probably about my age. He's probably like, maybe he's a little bit younger. He's probably, I think he's about 40. So he should
But
be
we're
fine.
not doctors. We have to throw that out there. Sorry.
Absolutely. But I'm glad that you're doing okay, and I'm glad that you're enjoying the panel.
What he really needs to watch is Cobra.
Ooh,
Absolutely.
No,
There's
no,
a-
I
you're
don't
not gonna
think
get a-
anybody
Yeah.
really needs to.
You don't like Cobra?
Knock
No.
out Cobra and Commando right after each other.
Then
Mostly
Tango
so
and
you
Cash. Tango and
Yes.
Cash is the closer.
There's
Yeah.
only
Tango and
one
Cash, isn't that
Cobra.
90s?
Yeah, Tango and Cash is 90s. I think it came out in
Oh,
91.
Oh, it's like 89. I think it's 88, 89.
Was it?
It's like 90,
No.
92.
No.
Well,
God, I am,
he's
you guys
looking
are
for it.
geezers,
You
man.
can
I am way too young
89.
for this panel.
That's why
89.
we're making fun of you today,
okay.
Jimmy.
that?
Well, then you
89?
could really
Yep,
go
89.
and do don't or stop or my mom will shoot. That's where you got to really finish it
That's
off.
another good one. I'll enjoy that one. All right, let's get into this stuff. We got things to talk about that aren't gonna get Yule upset. Man was about to have an aneurysm.
I'm not. What? Hold on a second. I got it.
We do have the Tom Taylor Superman criticism. Apparently, there was a video out there. I believe it was from our good friend Comics by Perch, and it was picked up by a bunch of outlets that have nothing to do with comic books. And I believe they might have misinterpreted some of the information that he was giving, and people were, I don't know, showering criticism on Tom Taylor and the sales of Superman, Son of Kal-El. What did you think about his comeback there, Josh?
I mean, look, his comeback was fine until he was like, there wasn't
He
a
got
Superman
pretty
book.
sassy.
He did. Which, look, I mean, I get it. It's your product. You're being a little defensive. Fine, whatever. And I think he had some valid takes until he got to the end and was like, there wasn't even a Superman book released in December. Meanwhile, the annual was released in December.
Yeah, it's absolutely falls in line with everything. And I don't know. What are your interpretations, Drew? You're in a comic shop. Is Superman Son of Kal-El selling like hotcakes now that
No.
we've had Tom Taylor?
No, not in our store. Know that. I mean, let's be honest. It's a momentary success. It is like a flare up for the coming out issue. I mean, he's going to have to keep this momentum up. He's going to have big like reveal moments in the upcoming issues to keep those types of numbers up. But I don't see that happening at all. It's just a
it's
shock
picked up by
factor.
CNN and every other news outlet. in the
Yeah,
world.
but for one issue. I mean, he's several issues in, but I don't see him keeping this up. He's going to have to make every. I mean, he's got to make every upcoming character gay, LGBTQ, just like some type of like shock value in the upcoming issues. But I don't see him being that.
This
that
is how
bombastic.
this is how we get the Justice League queer series.
Well, we were already moving towards that, but we do have Lade Kramer chiming in with the super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. This is for Yule Carter, the proprietor of Fantastic Comics. How has Superman been since the series launched during 1 through 4 and have issues 6 and 7? You know, how have you been ordering for the retailer? Has it been better for you?
It has. There was a slight uptick. I have people that are interested in it, and so I had to get like back issues. Larry helped me out with that, getting me some number 2s just before everybody was like salivating for them.
Because that was the first appearance of Jade Nakamura.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I've been selling those at cover. Thank you, Larry. And yeah, he hooked me up. That was cool. And yeah, it's been selling pretty well. The problem is like I'm less interested in the book than I was in the beginning. And yeah, so what? I'll gladly not read Superman for 5 more customers to read Superman. And that's pretty much, it's kind of like that. I had a customer yesterday. She comes in like, oh man, it's one of those scary customers. I'm sure you know about it, Drew. They come in like once every 3 months,
Yeah,
And-
it's like, wait, you look familiar. I think.
Oh no, I know when she's coming because like I'm like, but she's really super cool, and she said, oh yeah, I heard of this stuff about Superman, so now she's down for that. So it's still happening, it's still rolling out slowly. I think it takes a while for people to, even with all the hype, it takes a while.
Can I take a
Look,
guess? What color's her hair? Is it her blue?
No, nothing like that, dude. And she's
Hey,
got
look,
kids.
Look at it this way. Hey, guys, look at it this way. It's 1 reader gained. Ignore the 37 lost.
Well,
Just ignore that. You gained a reader. You lost.
No,
50?
but only I dropped off, and I'm not really dropping off. It's just
No, I mean,
I like
for
Kal-El. What
everyone.
can I say? Clark
As,
and
as
Lois.
long as your store loses money and not the book, we'll be fine.
It gains money.
I mean, we're reading these books every week for our channel, and I mean, there is nothing fun about them at all, period, whatsoever. And
You're telling me like a person just being gay is just not fun.
No, it's
cancel
more
to it
Taylor.
I don't know.
I'm the
wrong guy to ask about that. I don't know.
I'm not. I've enjoyed Tom Taylor, and it's not even on those
He's
kill
gay.
them all kind of books. Oh, is
I'm
it?
just waiting for one more year. I'm just waiting for
think he
one
is.
more year.
That's the
to
other
pass.
thing.
I think he's riding the bi train. I'm not sure. Maybe he's
No, I'm pretty sure he's married.
He's married with kids.
I
Yeah.
don't
I don't know.
Nonetheless,
Hey, look, I'm just waiting for one more year before we can all accept that I was always right about Tom Taylor.
I'm never gonna say that, even if you
Yep.
are never gonna say it.
he's getting on that list soon.
He's right there with Jason Aaron.
We do have a super chat from Callum Lyle I want to get to. It says, "This is pure speculation. Part 1, do you think Tom Taylor is homophobic, but he's projecting it in a nice way? He's straight and declared himself pseudo-gay." I don't know. Is Tom Taylor homophobic?
That's what us straights do.
Come on, Josh.
Is what it is.
This is Josh
We
question.
really like to promote the homosexuals because we hate them.
Is this an Eminem situation going on?
Make them less sexy.
No. Like they came out with one of them being part of the LGBTQ, and then
I didn't even know that.
then like a month later they're getting sued for like child slavery.
What the hell are you
What?
talking
No,
about?
you're talking about
you're talking about the
M&Ms.
M&Ms. I'm actually like
No,
actually
Eminem.
I thought he
fucking
meant
rapper.
Eminem. Yeah, exactly.
No, I knew what he
Eminem.
meant, but I don't know.
I thought he was bringing up that joke from the one movie with James Franco where he was like he did a fake interview and he said he was gay. I'm like, wait, that was
the
from a
interview.
movie.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
interview. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I'm like, no, that was from a movie.
No. Now
M&Ms.
everyone's speculating. Now everyone's like speculating they did that to get like some sort
This
of.
is
No,
not
there's
the
always
candy
press release.
aficionados, okay, fellas. We're not talking about M&Ms.
There's
What-
always press
what-
releases to make sure you know something so that you ignore all the other. Hey, Superman's gay. Tom Taylor's writing it. That's
But
I don't think
DC's
he's
kind of like
homophobic,
good.
but I do think he's pandering. Is that a better word, Josh?
Yeah, I definitely think there's some pandering. And again, I'll kind of side with Yul on this. There are plenty of Tom Taylor books that I really enjoy. And he's covered similar content in those books, and they were good to great. I hate this book. So
Once again, he had an editor that would keep him
agreed.
in line. You are now seeing unedited Tom Taylor, which is what we got at Marvel, and he's a piece of shit writer.
Not very good. We got a second part to this. Thank you so much to Callum Lyle for supporting the channel, which makes no sense. There seems to be this narrative that it's okay to change your sexuality anytime you want, which I know that's not how it works.
it's Discovery, isn't it, guys?
I mean, look, I think we're gonna go serious here for a second. I think the only reason it's a discovery is because you're conformed to think a certain way. I could go into a long talk about is being gay a choice or not. I would say no. If you want to talk to me about that after the fact, we can. And they're like they basically they can identify homosexuals by their genetic strands now, so they can look at DNA and identify people as homosexual. So I don't think it's a choice. We'll just leave it at that.
Well, I think
Really?
Yeah. So I'll say that. But I do think there's this trend now where it's cool to be gay or cool to be bisexual or cool to be pansexual. And you even have situations in schools right now where they're going up to like 8 or 9 or 10-year-olds asking them questions about, do you feel certain ways about your own sex? Like, do you think girls are pretty? Do you think this or that? Because my old boss had her daughter come home from school one day and say, am I supposed to be a lesbian? And she's 9. Because that's how she was made to feel. Like, I have serious issue with that. Like, I take serious issue with that. But I think that's kind of what we're seeing. Sorry to go so serious.
No, it's a cool.
Yeah, way to ruin the
Buzzkill. Let's get back to
Buzzkill
Jimmy's vagina.
Jimmy.
well,
He's all sober now. He's got a headache. Needs a fucking.
As the resident straight guy here, I agree.
We got Federico de la Casa. Hi guys, how come the CW Superman is less woke and good than the comic book Superman? I didn't think I would ever see a thing like this.
I
Technically, Action Comics, which has the real Superman, and it's still good.
Yes, it is.
Very much so.
And
I stopped reading that.
CW normally for 2 seasons is good before it just goes to crap.
That is correct.
All right, Jimmy, jump in there. I'm sorry.
No, it's ruined.
Dude, you had a great point. I could see it. You had a glimmer in your eye that you were going to say something that was going to be.
I was just going to I stopped reading it because like the first 3 issues didn't like do anything for me. And then now I'm hearing everyone's like, oh, it's fantastic. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah,
you had to get... Whoa. What's fantastic?
Yeah. Action Comics.
Action Comics.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Tom Taylor's Superman run.
No, he's talking about Action.
Wait, what?
If you read it before he gets to War World, it kind of goes on a little dip as he.
Guys, I'm dumb. I'm not stupid, okay?
I won't argue with you.
So, wait, no. Jimmy, you know dumb actually means you can't speak, right? That's what the I'm dumb, not stupid. It means, never mind.
I don't know what the hell's going on here. I feel like
Tom Taylor. How about him?
Like, where's Ashton Kutcher and the fucking Punks crew to jump on here and be like, "We got you!" Like, you dicks.
Now the chat's saying I'm drunk. What the heck, guys? I'm not drunk.
He's not drunk. He's hung over. There's a difference. You said you were up all night and you did a drunk comic reading 2 hours ago.
No, I recorded one 2 hours ago.
Yeah, you would have had to been drunk to do it.
It's a skit, guys. That's what I do. I do skits. I'm not the cool guy anymore, okay?
Wait, you were at some point?
Oh, good point.
I don't know. What do you think, Josh? Do you think this is going to have long-term benefits to the sales of Superman? I just don't see it happening.
No, not at all. I can't. It's not going to.
How about the retailers in here? Do we think, should Tom Taylor be on his high horse right now, or should he be, preparing to have to answer real criticism?
No, he needs to be ready for the criticism. Now, I think the love in is coming to an end with him eventually. And I think the real criticisms are going to start coming out, like Vita Ayala with Trial of Magneto. The knives are going to start coming out.
That's Williams.
I will say he's better than both of them. But what I will say too is that I think we need to also shine a light on the fact that part of the reason this book is so terrible isn't just because Jon Kent's gay.
It's everything else.
It's terrible. It completely undermines Superman. Hold on, my dog's going crazy. I apologize. It completely undermines Superman. I'll let y'all jump in on that real quick.
Yeah, there's a wonderful conversation where Jon Kent basically calls out Clark Kent while they're looking at the world. He's like, "Why didn't you ever do anything that really mattered?
Be a fascist
for real."
Yeah.
And he's like, "You know what, John? I just never felt like I belonged here. You're from Earth. I'm not even from here. I didn't feel like I could do anything."
And then there's one issue where the Kents, the parents, their house is destroyed. You're standing in the middle of it, like, "Oh yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it's just things." I'm like, "Your house was destroyed. What the hell? It's not fine."
Yeah, there's a whole host of issues.
Yes,
with Superman Son of Kyle. Not to mention that stupid haircut, Yule. Oh,
dude's haircut's lame. Yeah,
it is absolutely lame.
But I remember Moose. But I don't remember hair, but I remember like hair products.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like
Jimmy comb his hair, and I almost forgot what a comb was.
What did you lose your hair?
My father would say I was losing it in high school, but he was a dick.
You started going
always
making
like 18,
fun of me, didn't you?
No, it was more like late 20s. I was really losing my hair good.
23.
Dude, I'm on the same track as you, man. My whole family's got the widow's peak, so it's like I don't know if you can see.
Oh man, no! God cursed me even worse. It was widow's peak, and then it's like. I
look like a damn Rob Liefeld
I don't even have
picture.
An island or anything,
Rob Liefeld's hair goes in the Hall of Fame. What the hell are you talking about? It's like
then I'm about to be one of the elite.
Nah. All right. So Josh, what's up with the dog? Why is he so upset with us? Why is the dog interrupting the show?
I don't know. There was a dog like yelping outside, and he was not having it. But now he's just still grumbling. So I think he's just pissed about, Superman, son of Kal-El.
Yeah, because even he hates fucking Tom Taylor.
Yeah, I'm sure he's peed on one of my comic books that I had in a trash can at one point. So,
what are you seeing, Drew, as far as a comic book retailer? Obviously, we've had these big wholesale changes in Superman. I don't think most people even realize that Action Comics is out there and has a pretty good actual Superman story going on, because they don't ever mention it. The only thing that they're promoting right now is Batman, which has completely overtaken the entire DC Comics line anymore. You could only have so many Batman comics out there for a while. I don't see bright days ahead for DC Comics in 2022.
No, I don't either. And Ernie, he runs our main brick and mortar store, and he's been telling us, like you just said, I mean, he's point blank told me Superman does not sell. No one wants Superman. And I mean, most of the other books, he's only buying 2 of, the main and the variant if he can. But just no one, he's just telling me no one likes DC Comics. They only want the Batman, and that's it, which is a shame. It's heartbreaking, especially when we love Superman 78, and I tell him, Ernie, how great it is. He's like, no one wants it. No one likes Superman. What the?
Excuse you, it's 1078.
No, it's Superman 78. That's the name of the series from Robert Venditti.
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
Are you seeing anything similar? You'll out in California, or are people still interested in DC right now?
God, I'm less interested in DC. So
I know I am. Yes.
I mean, there's some times, but like this is DC. I've got the greatest person in anything ever going to be doing something for us, and you immediately know it's a Batman book. Shouldn't that greatest person ever in the world be able to take your like most nothing thing and be able to do something with it? Just on name alone.
Yeah, Marvel isn't putting Donny Cates on Spider-Man.
Right. I mean,
Avengers.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
He's kind of he's building his. I mean, Thor's a pretty solid. Hulk is pretty solid. As far as like you're right there. I mean, what else are you going to do after that? Is what you ask, and it's probably like go to another company.
So funny business right here says nobody cares at DC at my store. He's a retailer, and he stopped ordering DC Comics, I believe,
altogether
right before Future State. If what he says in the comments, obviously, I've been seeing him talking for the last year and a half. Nobody noticed. No one said, "I want my Batman comics." Like,
no, that would never. No, I would.
I'd
be in a lot of trouble if I did that. If I didn't have, I mean, and the thing is that there's people that are like super invested in that, in these, the Justice League Incarnate and the Infinite Frontier stuff, and I do have readers for that, and I have high numbers. One of my biggest book from DC is a Batman book, obviously.
Shocking.
And yeah, shocking. And you know what? The greatest thing is Detective. I order, pretty close to margins, and it's coming out weekly, and those people are coming in weekly and getting that book.
Hopefully they're picking up a couple other comics too.
Yeah. You hope,
if you go back to about 2019, maybe early 2020, there was a lot of people that were watching the way that Marvel and DC were both going. And the collective sentiment around that time is all DC has to do is not fuck things up, not change anything too drastically, keep going with the type of storytelling they were doing. And Marvel was in a fucking tailspin. And then DC decided to just start changing everything.
It's crazy because during DC Rebirth, if you look at the numbers, even when Marvel was outselling DC Comics, that was on volume because they were producing like 50% more comic books in total.
Yes.
But if you looked at the best-selling comics, because they were all coming from Diamond, so we actually had the numbers, DC was basically beating the shit out of them 3 weeks out of 4.
Yeah, and all they had to do was not fuck up and not change things too drastically. And then what did they do? They promptly decided to start changing everything fucking drastically. And now
they brought in Bendis and decided to go with the Marvel method.
So
yeah.
They made Marvel shift gears. They made Marvel do Generations, which is almost the same thing as DC Rebirth. That's how good DC was doing.
Yes.
And it just, then they Just
They
took a
shit
crap,
the
took a
bed.
shit their bed. Shit the
And
bed.
then
Yeah.
they went and copied all of the shit that, like, they announce essentially Marvel Now, but for DC. Now they don't actually do it immediately because the backlash is severe. But you're seeing all of the fallout from making all of the mistakes that everyone warned DC. Just don't do these things, and you will be the number one publisher in like a year. And then they
Jeff
did
Johns
all those
even
things.
told them, like, don't do these things. And guess what? They're like, shoo. And they did all the things he told them not to do. And look where we are.
So we do have a couple of super chats, and I do want to say before I get into these, if you haven't given us a thumbs up, I think we're about 65 likes on the video right now. We have almost 250 live viewers. So if you want to support the channel, all you have to do is hit the thumbs up button. Let everyone else know that we're having a good conversation here. We got Super Cam 1721. Thank you so much. Very, very generous $20 super chat. If DC was smart enough after the next crisis for the 100th time, have this buy older Jon Kent reveal he's from another Earth and sacrifice him to save the universe, and have the real Jon Kent at 10 years old return.
Sold.
Yes.
I don't think they can do it at this point.
No, there's no way they could get away with it from a PR standpoint.
Yeah.
From an actual sales standpoint, it would put them in a significantly more advantageous position. You would win a lot of your Super Sons audience back. You'd win a lot of traditional comic reader fans that have left back. Not all of them, but they get murdered by fucking CNN and the Mary Sue and CBR
and Tom
everywhere and Tom Taylor. Look, I'm sorry. Somebody needs to look at that Aussie son of a bitch and go, you fucking suck, and I hope a dingo eats your baby.
My goodness, man. He's got real kids.
They took the gold brick that, Tomasi and Gleason had made and took a shit on it. And it's amazing. You had gold, and then you literally shat on it, starting with Bendis. It's incredible just how much you can ruin something.
But they could absolutely undo the Jon Kent B&H thing up really easy. We've talked about it on the channel. All you have to do is say that the Jon Kent that came back was actually from a different Earth, and the real Jon Kent is stuck somewhere after his grandpa lost him. But they ain't ever going to do this. This will end up having to be a permanent change. But I understand where you're coming from, Super Cam. We've got Callum Lyle supporting the channel. Thank you very much. After seeing No Way Home and looking back, is Peter better off being alone? It's like the What Above All or Madam Web have it out for him, and he's never, ever happy. All right, we've got one Spider-Man hat on the entire panel. Is Peter better off alone, or should he be with somebody?
Yeah, man, make him alone and always can he always be a perpetual bachelor, though? If you're going to do that, you might as well write it for Jimmy,
Well, this is the way to actually introduce Mary Jane Watson.
I think.
Are we talking about the
in the
movie?
comic books?
Are we talking about the movie? I don't even know.
No Way Home is a reference to the movie, but I think he's talking about the character.
Well, I was just
in
taking
comics.
it anyway.
Can I say something? Because I have to raise my hand to talk around here. I think the best part about Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy is
The threesomes, right?
they're not just a love interest. They're also there to pull Peter back when he goes a little too far.
A little tug.
He goes a little too far. That's why I like him. Mainly Gwen. I like Gwen more.
Hey, remember on
I can't say anything serious around here either. What is going on?
What?
I know Doc's. Doc, I know what Doc's gonna say too. I know what Doc's gonna say.
All right, I'll just leave it at that, Jimmy.
I'm hoping we're recording this right now because I'm going to go back and watch this again. This is
we're recording.
It's all recorded.
I don't take these things down either, so we're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to, dissect this thing and see where it all went wrong. But we do have Neostar Productions chiming in. I'm pretty sure Tom Taylor worked at DC long enough to know there are at least a dozen superheroes that could easily resolve virtually any environmental and even atmospheric destruction. That is 100% true, Josh. That's why a lot of this stuff is stupid. Lex Luthor could solve all these things. Superman and Mr. Terrific could solve all the problems that are, that apparently Superman Son of Kal-El is going to address.
Yeah, this has been brought up before with other comics, and I think it's something where you have to have that suspension of disbelief and just kind of look past it. Otherwise, you're always going to be like, "Well, this could have been fixed. This shouldn't be a problem," and then you just become old and bitter. And my dog agrees. You just become old and bitter, and you're not going to like anything you read. But yeah.
Well,
I'm about to shoot my dog right now.
Well,
I'm kidding.
It's the problem anytime you get into comics or any form of media dealing with contemporary social issues. They're going to age like fucking milk, and in a fictional world, they often don't fit. It's like a round peg in a square hole. It just doesn't fit. When you live in a fantastical world where space travel can be done on a whim, and going to other planets and colonizing other planets is like something that happens every 3 weeks, and getting visits from aliens, a little bit of deoxygenization of a section of the ocean, that's solved in 15 minutes. Like it's like, oh, hey, there's this thing that's going wrong over there. Oh yeah, just swap it out with this other part over here.
You're bringing Firestorm. Firestorm can solve that in like 5 seconds. There we go.
Yeah, exactly. Especially now. Well, part of the other thing is, though, it only works that way when you've created the comic world that Marvel and DC have done over the last few years, where every fucking superhero is besties with everybody else, and they all have each other on their contacts list on their phone. Back in the day, when most of these people didn't know each other and didn't like each other,
sir.
All right, fine.
All right, I want to say thank you very much to Neostar Productions. Very generous of you. Thank you for supporting the channel. We've got Jimmy from Comic Works chiming in. Apparently, raising his hand is not working, and he wants to say Bendis is great. I don't care what anyone says.
I'm so happy you brought this up.
Did you read Joy Operations this week?
No. I think Jimmy meant to do that in past tense. It was.
I mean, I didn't. What's Joy Operations? No, I'm just
it's
kidding.
the Brian Michael Bendis comic from Dark Horse.
No. I read the first one. I was like, yeah, that ain't it, Chief. So
Bendis is coming was a threat.
I'll take the blows.
Take the hit. We're going to talk about that one in depth later. We got Dark Admiral March here. One of the viewers that's been here since day one. Bendis hit DC like an A-bomb. I'm a Marvel guy, and my poll was like 75 to 90% DC at the time. I dropped everything but Batman Beyond, which eventually got canceled. Batman Beyond, why Dan Jurgen was actually pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bendis's Batman universe was amazing.
It wasn't in DC Comics. That was in their 100-page giant.
You had to find that at
Walmart. They originally reprinted it into DC Comics.
In a graphic novel?
No, as a single floppies. I haven't. Oh wait,
that was like a year.
Do I hear that? Do I hear that? It's Jimmy got one up on it.
Wait. Did you say that Bendis' Superman
didn't get
was
anything
good?
up on me at all.
I didn't understand.
You think Bendis is good? I don't know, Drew. Is this something that you've seen? I've heard this from a lot of people. I noticed it from myself. When right before Brian Michael Bendis comes over to DC, I was reading, I would say like 70 to 80% of all regular DC comics that were coming out that were ongoing. I was reading shit I never played on, but they was like all so good. I was even reading Green Lanterns by Tim Seeley, and I think Tim Seeley sucks.
Oh, I agree.
I was like you.
Sorry, Tim.
Just Rebirth was such a great time. I was like you. I was reading everything and enjoying almost everything. But it's like right around the time when Doomsday Clock was kicking off, that's when things really started veering slightly off course. And then, like you said, the Bendis announcement, as soon as that happened, it drove off the cliff. It's incredible just how quickly things went from great to shit.
Doug Ernst, he's a friend of mine. He's obviously got his own YouTube channel. He had never read DC Comics in his life. He was only Marvel. It was Captain America. It was Spider-Man. And during DC Rebirth, he was reading Superman.
Yeah, I was reading everything Superman. It's like every week you had Action Comics, Superman. It was It was
He
so
had
much
more than
fun.
that.
So
One of the
Five
best
months.
runs on Superman ever is Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason.
Yeah.
One of the best runs ever.
Yeah, and then you had what was great. You had Dan Jurgen, you had the whole team. They were cleaning up the DC New 52 Superman mess, which is, I can't believe they did that. It was
Yeah, and they had
incredible
those
how well
cool
they did that.
plans for Jor-El as Oz.
Yeah,
And then
Well, they would
Bendis
do it
came
that.
in and was like, he's a grandpa now. And so we're going to focus on that.
Yeah, Bendis is great. We're gonna talk about that
No,
later.
no. I'm on your guys' side. His Superman broke me after issue 6 of Superman, dude. After that, I was like, oh god, this is bad.
We got Callum Lyle. Can you imagine Jeff Johns fighting Vita?
Oh, I would pay to see that. I would legit pay to see that right now.
Like, are we talking an actual fist fight? Because I would
I think
literally
Vito
throw
would
money.
fuck him up.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, she would definitely fight a lot dirtier than him.
Dude,
in a
Jeff
ring.
Johns, he's not young anymore. And I don't know how physically fit he
His
ever
hips all
was.
Vita's
fucked
like
up. She's gonna throw him
Vita's
down the
pushing
stairs.
40.
She is.
You
I'm-
see how bony she is? She's got elbows, man. She'll just, you know.
So I'm picturing a scene like that. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Network.
Oh,
You know,
I'm sorry,
in the 70s.
Dave. I didn't mean anything by that.
So-
What are you, misgendering
That was
people?
an accident.
have you guys seen the
I
movie?
did.
I was non-gen, or I don't know.
Have you guys seen the movie Network that came
I
out in
was
the 70s?
gendering.
Have you guys seen
Network?
Oh yeah,
Movie Network?
I'm mad. I'm mad.
Yes.
All right.
Mad as hell, and I ain't gonna take it no more.
Yeah, well, there's a great scene in it where Ned Beatty, the owner of the network, he's talking to the anchor. He's like, "You have no idea the powers you have messed with here." It's like I get to see Jeff Johns laying into Vita like that at this, just him and her, this huge conference table. It's like, get the fuck out of here, get your shit.
I think you get
Before
kicked
we
in the
can lay
nuts,
out.
then she'd break his old man hip, just like Yule predicted.
Maybe in a
goodness.
dream. Yeah.
He's only like
I mean, I'd pay to see this fight, but I think Vita's winning. And I'm putting money on Vita.
All right, well, let's get over. I did make a video with my good friend Dylan from the Real Comic Book Gamer. And we talked about how we would just things that we would do. A lot of it had to be with bringing in veterans to come in as work as group editors, get rid of the Omniverse. You know, Jeff Johns obviously was involved. All right, I'm going to throw it to Jimmy first because I know what you would do to fix DC Comics. Brian Michael Bendis, EIC, right?
Wait, you're actually asking me a question? We're
I
41
value your
minutes.
opinion, Jimmy. That's why you're on the panel.
We're 41 minutes in. This is the first question you asked me. If I'm not asked the next question,
Well,
first,
you know what?
I am walking
If
out.
you
of
don't
here.
Answer the
you're
fucking
not gonna get
question,
asked a
bitch.
That's why I didn't ask you a question. already.
No. I think you're right. Get rid of the Omniverse because if you don't work in a box, you're not going to use your imagination all the way. Otherwise, you can just be like, "We'll do this, and this." No, you work in a box. You have you get to use your imagination more because you have to figure things out. It's better that way. But this Omniverse, you're like, so what if Watchmen didn't happen? No, that can't happen. Just go with it. Oh, I can't. I don't like it.
I think the point Jimmy here is trying to make is when you prescribe limits onto what are the options for writers, you actually challenge them to be creative and come up with new and clever things. Without limitations, they could just do whatever the fuck they want.
Yes.
Nothing matters. Nothing
And you don't have to
matters.
be creative
if
to go outside
everything
the
is
boundaries,
available.
right?
When
Yes.
everyone's super,
Nobody's
no
super.
one will be. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like letting kids draw on the fucking wall instead of
the hell's
giving
going
them
on
a
here,
piece
Josh?
of paper.
I don't even know. All I heard was when everyone's super.
No one's super.
Well, Doc finished the sentence, so I was like, okay, I'll just shut up.
You guys are finishing each other's sentences now. Doc was just your translator. I like it.
Yes.
Doc knows me. Doc knows me more
There's a
than anyone
friendship
else.
brewing
knows.
here.
I have
so
never mind.
I do want to hear from a retailer perspective. We obviously been talking about DC or whatnot. From your perspective, what could DC do just right now that you think would help, maybe not fix everything, but would have some long-term positive effects on DC Comics?
Well, I think less is more in DC. I understand. To me, every Batman book can be great, but I can't have so many of them. And I know everybody says this, but I want to get a little bit more philosophical about it. Maybe it feels like they are gutting the golden goose. They don't care. they're just going to do it. And earlier, the guy who has the comic store said that his comic customers are thanking him for getting him off that horse, that DC horse. I just wonder how far that can go with all sorts of comics also. But my big deal would be bring back team up books. You used to have some, you want Superman to be more popular, have Superman do team up books like DC Comics presents. They're hokey books. Pardon me?
World's Finest is coming back.
World's Finest. That could be cool. That's not quite, I mean, the thing is, like in World's Finest, when I read them, that was where Green Arrow and Black Canary and Martian Manhunter and all sorts of stuff. And Action Comics was kind of that way also, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Give Steve Orlando another Martian Manhunter series.
All right. Hold on. Well, no. That'd been the first. Like, make sure Steve Orlando never comes back to my company. That'd be you want me to help DC? That's what I would do.
His Martian Manhunter was good, but they gave him a crappy
I was
artist.
amazed that he actually wrote something I might even pay attention to. But go back to those books. Go back to bi-monthly books. Stop giving me everything as miniseries. You have to. So when Eric Larson was involved with my store, he said a painted sign announcing your name is better than something that's, you want to paint it in the window because you want to have that lasting perception. And when I kind of agree with that. So I've never done it. But I feel like it's the same thing with the comic books. If you're only putting out miniseries, you're saying, hey, we don't matter. We're not lasting. This isn't something that's going to be around tomorrow. And everything at DC is either miniseries or Batman, and all the miniseries are Batman. And they're just continuously gutting that goose, gutting it in every way possible.
They're kind of encouraging people to graphic novel wait.
Yep.
Why pick up the periodics when you just wait for the graphic novel, right?
Well, that would be another thing. I mean, I'm selling DC well to people, so it's not like really problematic. Their books, but they don't have that lasting quality where I want to purchase them later on down the line. Because they are something you could just get in book form.
So we do have a series of super chats we need to get to real quick, and then we'll get back to ways to fix DC. We got Mr. DC Comics himself. Call me crazy, but I honestly believe that DC is being sabotaged on purpose in the movies and the books.
It feels like it at points.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
But to what, for what reason? To what end? Is it to sell them because you kind of want to build up something you want to sell?
I don't know. What do you think, Josh? I heard a little an audible noise come from you.
I was just going to say that I don't think it's on purpose, but they're definitely sabotaging themselves. I think it's just a situation of getting stupid people in leadership positions. And you see that way more often than you should. But you get people that should not be leaders and should not be making decisions, and they're making the decisions. So,
yeah.
People failing upwards.
Yeah.
It feels like that. We got common sense in here. The nicest thing I can say about Bendis is his Wonder comics. Young Justice is bad. Didn't read Wonder Twins. Sam's Dial H for Heroes is a masterpiece.
I'm just going to shut up forever.
He didn't even write the one he said it was good there.
Oh, he didn't.
You notice that one, Jimmy?
Yep. Young Justice was the best one out of all of them. Though.
Oh,
you got the
no.
Naomi.
You're a Intern fan?
I read Young Justice. It wasn't very good.
I love Young. I got every single issue. I love it. And multiple covers.
The variants were really good.
The Phil Jimenez looking behind one. Josh, you know what?
Look, it's Dial H for Hero was good, and Naomi season 1 was good. That's it.
Yes, it was.
And he can't take most of the writing credit for Naomi, unfortunately.
Well, Dial H for Hero sucked, but the Wonder Twins was good.
Yeah, the space orgy in school issue was my favorite.
Oh,
yeah,
the prudes.
The Thunder Climax.
I'm the procurer of lust.
No, there was an issue when it thundered. Everyone was like climaxing, and it's all kids. So think about that.
No, it wasn't kids.
That was
No,
the
yeah, they were in
problem.
a-
It didn't
they were
matter.
at a school.
No,
What do
that,
you
that
mean
They
was
it
were
a
being
kid?
told.
that was the plan.
Kids on a basketball court.
Hey, Josh, how about you stop yelling? That's not how you win a conversation there, mate. No, he was telling the story at a school about his planet where there's a
Yes.
season. Yes, about their planet during a season. There's a giant orgy.
Of
but-
orgasm.
Boom.
yeah, I know what an orgy is, Wes.
Yeah, it was in a school. They weren't having the orgy
They
in
weren't
the school. They were
having
telling the
orgy
story
in
to
the
the
school.
students.
They were relaying what happened.
They're
in the
aliens.
school.
What do you expect? They don't know stuff.
Yeah, it's
They
supposed to
don't,
be
they don't know.
humorous.
They don't know
My process
customs.
is-
Like
Clearly,
I
you
don't
have
know.
deciphered the Brian Michael Bendis code. We do have Lane Kramer. Hey, talk about this
It wasn't-
stupidity. At
wasn't
least
Mark
DC
Russell?
Marvel comics have not gotten like High Republic and Star Wars with a living navigator named Rock named Geode. Well, technically, High Republic is Marvel,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
They're gonna have a Jedi Rock, aren't they?
I wouldn't doubt it. They got a cookbook. They got a cooking contest comic, so I wouldn't doubt it.
That sounds like $1 million.
Wait,
bucks
which one
right
is
there.
that? That's not Crimson Empire, is it?
Oh no, that's just reliving Soilo. Yeah, for that movie. Yeah.
So we got Callum Weil, easy fire Tom King. I don't know if that would fix all of DC comics, but it fix something.
Yeah.
He's Tom King is an issue. Although he does sell comic books, I have to at least give him that part. There's a lot of people that don't. We've got Lane Kramer at West. Josh Yule, could maybe somewhat Superman be rehabbed with the miniseries by Daniel Warren Johnson, like Superman Birthright, for all seasons take on? Absolutely.
Yes.
His Beta Ray Bill was great. I really enjoyed a lot of Daniel Warren Johnson's work, and judging by what he had to say about Superman in Superman Red and Blue, number 5, I would say it'd be good.
I think he can do anything.
I want to see him do Hawkman. Honestly, I want to see him do an awesome
Oh,
Hawkman.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my
I-
god, that'd be amazing.
I think you'd do a great job. Unfortunately, if we went with that, it'd be a Black Label book. And as much as they try to say no, everything matters, they'd be like, oh no, it's Black Label. I'm like, I hate that
The
stuff.
next Daniel Warren Johnson book is going to be wrestling related, if I'm not mistaken. So it's bound to not sell at all.
Well, he already did WrestleTober, which is that book, right?
Yeah, I don't know anything about that, but I heard that the next thing is going to be wrestling related. Maybe
Well,
that's
what's
it.
the-
WrestleTober. It's a bunch of illustrations of.
Well, I think the next comic book is going to be.
it
No,
can't
but the
be
cool
better than
thing-
Crimson Cage, can it?
The cool thing about Daniel Warren Johnson, though, is like the premises are a lot of them are very like simple, but there's always a twist that he gives it that's just metal, like a Murder Falcon. Every time he plays the guitar, a Falcon comes out and fights bad guys. That's just metal. That's awesome. Like,
Well,
he
it's
does-
Metal's
supposed
not a
to
good
be,
word for
you know.
DC Comics. It's not a
No.
good fit for me.
oh well, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we need something else.
We've got the Doc chiming in, the Docmeister. Jim is sabotaging DC Comics so we can buy it on the cheap.
What did I do? What did I do this time?
Not you, Jimmy. Jim. Lee. Fuck.
I just
All
always
about
assume
you.
It's
everything-
not all about you.
I just assume you're always insulting me. So I just
Yes, sir.
I got PTSD.
That I'm not gonna lie, that would actually be hilarious if DC just starts tanking and they're like, "We're selling it," and Jim Lee's like, "Don't worry, I got you," and then everyone's like, "Oh God, no!" And then suddenly after that, it's like high class comics. We're like,
No, it's only going to be like Wetworks. Like only Wetworks all the time.
He just
Well, Works
brings
is a
back.
good series.
He replaced
right,
it. He
but,
just
you
starts
know.
publishing all the
It's not
Wildstorm stuff
yeah, exactly.
under the DC label and cancels all DC.
and
books.
everybody, and then all the wilds, and then
And then the DC characters get introduced poorly into the Wildstorm universe.
yeah, exactly. I was gonna say like they start punk like Apollo just like punks Superman, and like there's no more
Mr.
Superman
Majestic
because the real gay
smokes-
Superman kicked his ass, you know.
Mr.
The
Majestic.
WCW invasion of WWF.
and
all
then
over
like
again.
and
Yes.
then like all the foxes get off by Midnighter, you know, just like horrible things happen in all the DC universe because of Wildstorm.
Yes, the Authority just goes in and like slaughters all the useless characters. They only leave one of every fucking family member left.
Oh, man.
And,
All right.
and I'm happy about it because then there's no more legacy characters, and I'm really happy.
We'll leave half the Bat family.
We've got Eric O'Sullivan.
That's
chiming
still like
in. Thank you.
73 people.
God damn it, Doc. I'm reading the super chat. You know what I'm doing, right? I don't want to have to warn you, kid. Are you trying to beat Jimmy? We got Eric O'Sullivan. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Perch said something profound about Marvel, yet it applies here. The publishing wing is considered marketing to the IP in movies where the real money is made. Publishing profit does not matter. That's absolutely true, Doc. It's all considered marketing for the characters.
Yes, that's the way they've been treating it, except for they're doing it in the worst possible way. And they've been doing it for 10 years in the worst possible way, where they, fundamentally alter characters right as they're getting big in film. Like, hey, we made Doctor Strange into a character that everyone's looking forward to his sequel. What do we do to promote that? Replace him. We made Iron Man the biggest thing in the world, the biggest character on the planet. What do? Replace him with a 15-year-old black girl that's a thief. What we made Captain America awesome. What do? Replace him with the Falcon. Everything. It's done the worst possible way. And honestly, at this point, it's fucking hilarious to me.
You know who wrote a good
You
Doctor
seem pretty
Strange
mad when you
book?
talk about it. I don't ever hear you laugh. You know what I mean?
You know who wrote a good Doctor Strange? No, I don't. I'm just gonna be quiet.
Let me comment on this.
Brian
really
Michael
quick.
Bendis?
No,
I don't know why the movie companies who spend $100 million on advertising, they could print all these comic books for free and give them to comic stores to sell.
They could.
They could just say, "Here, have them," if they wanted to, and they could just call it advertising, and it would be a ton cheaper. I mean, they're trying to get mouse in high schools. You know what I mean? They're totally indoctrinating kids with comic book culture. They might as well just give the shit out for free.
They might honestly, it would probably they could actually do it as a write-off then.
Yeah.
And
for a whole year of Spider-Man before a movie comes out, Doc.
I guarantee amusement parks spend that much on those fucking little pamphlets that you used to get at roadside diners for whatever the local attractions were. They'd spend about as much as a comic company spends on publishing a comic on one of those things that they hand out for free. So Marvel should do it on a month. Marvel and DC should do it on a monthly basis.
All right. Well, we got Chuck Skills. Man, that is a good handle right there. More people should read Titans United.
Absolutely.
I know, Drew, you agree.
Absolutely. Recommend that every single week. Every issue has been fun. And unfortunately, it's a mini series.
It's a mini series, so it's almost over.
Yeah. One issue to go.
Shockingly, the guy that's writing that is doing like the High Republic shit.
It's completely different. It's
baffling.
Like, do I know you right now? It's like I don't get it. I really don't.
Absolutely. Now we got Mr. DC Comics. DC needs animation that's on the same level as My Hero Academia and Attack on Titan. Animation will always be the best way to capture new fans. They used to have really great animation. They certainly have better animation than Marvel, but I wish they would stick a little bit closer to the stories. You know what I'm talking about, Jimmy?
Not really. I don't know.
He's talking Batman the Animated Series.
I have never seen it.
Neither is Wes.
Long Halloween?
What? Oh
No.
We're bringing
I'm
this
sorry.
back up now.
Yo, Josh, you know what I'm talking about. They
You
need
guys
to
are
be
so
more
much
true to the
older
story.
than me.
I do. I mean, look, especially if you go back to like
I'm
the
sorry.
90s and early 2000s, DC's animated films and shows were excellent.
All the Bruce
lately-
Timm inspired stuff.
Lately, the movies have not been great because they're trying so hard to subvert expectations that they're just ruining great stories. And they're also doing kind of cheap animation, so they can see.
And they're also switching out the characters.
Yeah.
I
mean, like
if you watch a certain animation, you try to go read the book, it's not the same characters.
oh yeah, no, it's yeah. I was trying not to go into specifics because some of that's spoilers for some of the stories, but Hush, man, oh god, it was
bad. I hated it.
So bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, it was bad.
What's the killing
I
joke?
mean-
They added that rape scene on there, right?
Thanks, Brian Azzarello. That was great.
Yeah.
rooftops, baby.
Yeah. But I agree with you, Mr. DC Comics. This is one of the coolest things. If you go on Netflix, you literally have a gateway to some of the most popular mangas in the entire world. And if you go and read the first season, there's a jumping on point right into the manga. It basically covers it exactly the way the story was written. I think that's a very big value add from the anime into the manga. We've got Sigma Comics Heck, who says, keep it tuned to Thinking Critical and support this great show. Indies, my friends, indies. Here comes Calico #4, killed it on Kickstarter, and hits Indiegogo next week. Wow. So if you are one of those people that will not support something on Kickstarter but loves Indiegogo, next week you got Here Comes Calico #4, successfully funded, and definitely support our guys over at Sigma Comics. And definitely love having HH on the channel.
I hate backer kit. It's just like so confusing. Everything about when that stuff starts up at on Kickstarter, it's so confusing for me.
In what way?
Because everything's like email based, and you get a lot of updates on Kickstarter or on the projects. But I don't know, like there's been some where it never, whatever it is, it just doesn't really open up, or I never catch it at the right time. And I'm always good about making sure the stuff is going to get mailed to me, but like if I go to the site, it's really, I don't know, there's something about it that just always like confuses me. I'm old, I can't help it. I'm just letting people know I do like Indiegogo because like it's kind of it's the Apple, right? version. I put the button.
I like Indiegogo just because I like paying for shit whenever I buy it.
Yeah,
not paying, not deciding to buy it and then wait 30 days for them to charge me. Fucking bugs me.
Yeah, it is upsetting too. Yeah,
there's definitely some differences between the two platforms. We've also got Zoop out there if you want to check that one out. But we do need to fix DC Comics, and we had to take a little break to cover all the super chats. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. It really means the world to me. Drew, how would you fix DC Comics? What's the one thing you would do?
One thing I would do, it's controversial, but first part isn't so much. But I'd bring back Jeff Johns as co-publisher, but I'm going to say a name. We're probably going to lose half your audience.
Please say what I'm thinking.
Kelly Sue DeConnick.
Close. Ethan Van Sciver. Bring him back as co-publisher with Jeff Johns. Look, he's controversial, but the numbers don't lie when it comes to those two. When those two are together, things sell. Books move. That is the truth.
And you won't get it for 2 years. We get it.
Well,
no. We're talking DC. When he's got an actual publisher with him, he's got everything in place. Look at Rebirth.
And he has somebody punching him in the fucking dick, telling him, "Get at your art table and get off YouTube."
Well, he wouldn't be doing art; he'd be the co-publisher. Joe.
Be co-publisher.
Yeah.
Unlike Jim Lee, he wouldn't just be like Nero and just drawing while everything's burning to the ground.
I got an idea. Like, I know this is another thing people are gonna hate, but bring back Jeff Johns, but also this is the thing. I think you should probably consider bringing back Dan DiDio. Ever since he left,
he's not coming. He'll never come back.
I know. But like, guys, these are all hypotheticals, anyways.
Wait, is Paul?
If we bring him back, bring him back,
he's writing for AWA.
Yeah. I'd say Paul and Jeff would actually be an interesting mix.
Yeah.
And another thing I would have is Jim Shooter as lead editor and trainer over assistant editors, making sure the assistant editors know their shit. Because there's a lot of that just don't know what the hell they're doing. Yeah. You need someone like Jim Shooter in there who can tell them, like, no, stupid, this is how you do it. This is how you do it right.
Well, Levitz was that guy whenever he was still there the first time.
Yeah.
He was the quiet one.
Yeah. I believe, was it O'Neill or was it Levitz that came in, and specifically with Batman, they had a Batman book. Like, here's the guidebook. This is what you can.
Yes,
okay, it was Danny. I think Levitz played a hand in helping him create that, though. But they made a book of this is what you can and cannot do. This is the structure of the characters. This is how they need to look. This is how they need to act. These are the types of things that they would say or do. They had it pretty structured. I think when it comes down to it, what we really need is just structure. And there is no structure. And the people that Drew mentioned, whether you like them or dislike them, every single person he mentioned is going to bring a sense of structure. It's not going to be like a daycare with a bunch of kids just doing whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
Also, I think a big thing, we're not getting consistency. No consistency on any level. On first off, staff, because everyone's leaving all the time and new people coming in, but also consistency on good quality books. Not, oh, this book was good this month. Hope it's good next month. It's just.
All right, Josh, you're up. I know you chimed in there, but you're the last one that hasn't said how they would. What's the one thing they would do to fix DC Comics?
Yeah, so I'm going to pull a little bit of Yoel and Drew, cut your line, get some structure in there with some actual leaders that are going to lead the company. And then I think you have to go back to the core of the characters. Like, what are the foundations of these characters? What is the point of them? What's their purpose? And then develop your stories. And I think if you're going to fix something, you're going to have to do like a hard, like, here's a line in the sand. You know, these are where these stories are kind of taking off. Which I know creates confusions. I know we saw some issues with New 52, but you can choose a starting point. I would just pick something before, future state, whatever the hell it was. But pick a point and be like, this is where we're starting from. Everything prior to it was canon, part of that canon, and then go.
So we do have Tom Cruise Nuke by account says, get the guys who rebooted Valiant in 2012. That would be Dinesh Shamdasani and Warren Simons. Now, I do not have them on my channel, but I want to give you guys a little heads up. On Monday, Robert Venditti, who certainly was the main writer at Valiant in 2012 on Exo Man of War, did the Armor Hunters event, did the Book of Death. Obviously, I did How Jordan the Green Lantern Corps, what did he do? Superman 78. He's done Hawkman, DC Comics. He will be on the channel for an hour-long conversation.
Nice.
Putting it out there. If you're interested in that interview, I just conducted it a couple of days ago. It was fantastic. So
Nice.
I might have to watch one of your videos now.
Hey, you should watch all my videos. What are you talking about? I watched your video.
You might learn something, Jimmy.
Might learn who Roger Stern is.
Hashtag bring back Hawkman, man.
WraithX7 says, fix DC by making their heroes less unique, by getting rid of all the redundant knockoff heroes with the same powers. Stop overexposing their popular characters and stop overpowering their heroes.
Yes.
Three strong.
Slaughter the legacies.
It's called the Doc Initiative.
Yes. Slaughter the legacies.
The only one who should be overpowered is Superman.
Bring back uniqueness and to individual characters. That's what it comes down to. Characters sell when there's only one of them, flaws and all.
Unique New York.
Yeah, they are unique. The ones that there's 38 different variations on them, they get boring. Nobody cares. Why do you think? Let's just look at Captain Marvel or Shazam, whatever you want to call him. Shazam, when he's by himself, fine. Once you start adding in the whole Marvel family.
I think oldies would not agree with that.
That is what the Titans Academy, that's what they're getting to right now. They pretty much banished Billy to hell. That was Tim Sheridan writing out Billy and bringing in the diversity family to be the next Shazam, effectively, in the DC universe. Billy's gone. They're here. Deal with it. And
all right.
Eat shit.
We got more from WraithX7. He's not done. They say you can also fix DC by selectively retconning and ignoring any stories that hurt the character without any in comic explanation. Should they be retconning out Heroes in Crisis and all the other bullcrap Tom King wrote?
Can we just say stop retcons?
It's a solid idea.
Well, I look. I mean, at this point, especially in DC, you have to retcon something, like, because you're in the situation where everything matters, and we always joke that if everything matters, nothing matters. And the reason we say that is, if we've got like, Wonder Woman did this, and then she did this, which contradicts this, it doesn't make sense. You have to retcon something.
Yeah.
So at some point they need to, and I don't know if that means they need to do another like year one or origins for each character to kind of like, here's 6 to 8 issues defining like what their history is and what is in continuity and go from there. But they need to do something.
All right, Jimmy, rebut him. Go debate his ass. Tell him why he's wrong.
Because there's so many retcons now. Like every other book, it's literally just another retcon of a retcon of a retcon. Just we're already here. Just stick with it and go forward.
Jimmy, that's my point, though. When everything matters, once one writer's writing something, they write something based on one canon. And then another writer steps in and they decide they don't like that canon. So they write something that's a completely different canon that contradicts what they just did. So therefore retcons what just happened 3 months ago. That's why you have to do just a line-wide retcon of this is what is and what isn't, and move
First
forward.
off, you're coming at me based off of Wes's rebuttum.
Well,
I wasn't rebutting nothing.
You called me.
I know
what?
you said there's too many retcons, and I'm explaining the reason you're getting so many retcons.
Okay, then I'm confused on what you're saying. Then, do you want a retcon of everything and say this is what it is, or do you
Pull
want
off
them
the
to just
Band-Aid.
forward?
That's what he's saying.
Yes, what I'm saying is you have to pull off the Band-Aid and decide what is or isn't canon. Because but no, you're not. Dude, I need you to listen. If you're going to comment on me, you got to listen.
You're good.
All right. What I'm saying is, as long as you have everything that matters, and you've got multiple canons that are quote unquote canon, every writer that picks up a character, they're going to contradict themselves, therefore retconning the story that came 2 months before it. So you can do these soft retcons all over the place because writers pick and choose what they like or dislike. Or as a line, you could say, this is our line, this is what happened, and then go.
Put the writers back in a box. Have them in a
reset.
narrow. Yes, it'd be almost, it'd essentially be a reset.
The thing is that DC was the company where the characters didn't really interact with each other all the time, unless it was like Justice League or those team up books. Every once in a while there'd be guest stars. But now, Superman and Batman are buddies. But Marvel Universe, that's what was different. That, oh my God, something that happens to the Fantastic Four might affect the Avengers too. That type of stuff. But DC's popularity was when they didn't touch each other. And they touch each other way too much now. Way too much.
Well, that's
I feel
the
that
problem.
same exact way with Josh.
Everyone, that's the problem.
I get
with comics.
handsy.
They all touch each other too much.
Yeah, they do.
That's why Warren Ellis isn't in comics anymore.
Oh my goodness. All right. So thank you very much to Rate X7. I really appreciate you supporting the channel. Oh, we've got a Mr. DC Comics. DC's starting point needs to be the New Gods by Jack Kirby, John Byrne, Walter Simonson, but redrawn by Jason Fabok. Show how it all started with the God Wave. He wants to start over from the beginning, Drew.
Yeah.
It's an idea. It's a take. It's an idea. I just one
Ultimate
that
DC.
may not be
Eventually, it does feel like they're going to have to shit can everything and just
they're
start
going to have
over.
to. I mean, they're going to have
feels
to.
that way.
It is a mess right now. It is a legit mess, and only way to do that is you got to wipe that whole thing clean. You've got to. You got to bring in someone. You got to bring in a solid team that have merit that can start fresh.
Or
Like Marat.
or you write a DC Universe Bible.
Yeah.
There has to be a Bible regardless.
Yeah.
But you don't
somebody has to
we don't
start
have
it.
to necessarily read it,
No,
Yeah, I know, but
DC
the creators need to.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would
think
love to
it's
see that. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to make a joke. I would like to see that opening page, like some godlike character, just like putting new bricks of faces on the source wall and saying, "Well, that's fixed."
What I was going to say is
I like that.
I would be weary of quote unquote just starting completely clean, because then you get the new 52 issue where everyone's trying to figure out, well, what is or isn't, and then you also get in that habit of just retreading they're doing it now anyways, but retreading stories that have already been published. So if you create the Bible and people understand, it kind of solves both problems.
Well, look to Justice Society when it comes out later this year, because
Hopefully.
that's Jeff Johns
hopefully.
writing it.
Hopefully it does.
It'll happen.
All right, we do have Eric Sullivan. He's got a good idea. He says, smash that like button. Oh, yeah. So we're about, I think, at 138 likes. We got 280, 290 people live. So if you haven't hit the like button yet, let everyone know that we're having a good time here, having a fun conversation. We're about to head over to Marvel Comics now, because we've got a reboot, a relaunch coming from Daredevil. Here's the problem, Doctor. You know what I'm saying, Doc? They're relaunching the title with another number one, but it's the same character, the same story arc, the same writer, the same artist. Why did they do the relaunch? It feels like it should just keep going.
Because Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel both got to do the same thing 14 times every time they got canceled. Except for this book didn't actually get canceled because it was still selling well. I don't understand the purpose of this. I guess, you know what I have a feeling of? Okay, whenever they did, because All right, yeah, Daredevil that was building up to this story, and then they get to Devil's Reign or Devil's Pain or
Devil's Reign. I'm enjoying
Shadowland
that, by the
2
way.
or whatever you want to call it. And then they're rebooting now this time. Remember whenever they pulled all of the payoff from Daredevil out of the Daredevil book and made it into its own book. They did the same thing with Venom whenever they got to Absolute Carnage, except for they continued Venom with the same numbering afterwards. But they didn't see the sales boost translate back over to Venom that they got out of Absolute Carnage. So they're trying it a different way this time. It's literally the exact same playbook, except for change one thing.
I've seen people in chat, I think, talking about novels. And the thing is like, you might have like a 9-series book, that you're going to be reading, but they're all broken up in like 3-part trilogies. So this kind of feels like that. I mean, I love the long number, and they'll have the legacy numbering anyway, which they always fudge, I guess Devil's Reign will be a part of that, and they'll probably add on that Daredevil Elektra one, but at least there will be that. So if it's on your bookshelf, you'll probably appreciate it more. Like, oh, this is the pre-part of the story, and this is the next part. And it's upsetting that they feel like they have to. It's like that sign in the window I never had painted, man. You're not lasting. You're telling me that this is a fleeting thing. And when I was reading Frank Miller, I didn't know that he was going to ever leave the book because, it wasn't, of course he is, but, I was a kid. And, it's the same. Kurt Swan. I mean, that dude stuck on that book for like 100 years.
Yeah. But no,
and redrew Kirby's faces.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess my point here is that they already tried. All right,
I hear what you're saying. It's a better sales. I get a new number one.
Yes. So instead, now what's going to happen though is you're going to actually have less sales than the last Daredevil number one.
I don't know. This Devil's Reign is doing well for me.
It doesn't matter. You're still going to have people that always check out every single time, and it's always outnumbers the people that come on. You can look at the last 15, 20 years of relaunch fever where it's getting more and more and more frequent and see that it's the law of diminishing returns in action. Like if you were to open the encyclopedia, look for law of diminishing returns. All they'd show is comic book industry from 2005 to now, because every single time more people leave than come on. But they're hoping that this time will somehow be the exception to that.
Well, as a retailer, from my perspective, I really think more and more now that it's honestly just to get a good sales boost on a retailer exclusive number one. If they need a good bump at the year, hey, let's sucker in a bunch of retailers to get a bunch of number ones exclusives of Daredevil standing on a top of a building. And
dude, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna prove Doc wrong in my store. I'm gonna sell even more now. I'm gonna work it.
All right, let's see where you get at.
No, I mean, I don't know. I guess it really depends on where Devil's Reign ends. But if there's like a good hook to get me to tell people, like, holy cow, you got to read Daredevil, because this is this thing that's happening. That's what I would hope to expect. But if it is just restarting it with a new number one because there is nothing really different than the story that was previous, that'll be a letdown. I mean, it will be a quick sink in sales, but I think I'm kind of thinking that it's going to be the other way. It's going to be exciting, and like this is a jumping on point rather than the jumping off point. Like I still am maintaining the people that are reading Daredevil to Devil's Reign, and I've got new people.
Yeah, you've gotten the new people for Devil's Reign. Devil's Reign's a miniseries, so
well,
you throw that. Hey, look,
depends on how it ends.
Absolute Carnage got more people than were reading Venom.
Right.
That's how it always happens. That's the event that is the culmination of the payoff from the individual book. Now, does Daredevil 1, Chichetto and Zdarsky Volume 2 have as much staying power as, Chichetto and Zdarsky Daredevil Volume 1. And that's where the answer's likely to be no, because it's always been no.
But they've got 2 Daredevils now, Doc.
I don't give a
Daredevils.
You can have
Double the sales.
yeah, that's totally, let's take yet another bad trope to make a character less unique and less desirable to buy and add that to something that's provably shown to reduce numbers over time. Sure, that's definitely going to work. Do 2 bad things that lose sales, you're going to gain sales, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. Do them at the same time. They counteract each other and end up as a positive. It's not fucking it's not multiplying 2 negatives together and getting a positive. It doesn't work like math like that. Sorry.
So my stance on this is I feel that it's 100% just a cash grab.
Mm-hmm.
I do. And I think what publishers need to do is stop and kind of look at it from the customer perspective, and also the perspective of customers are going to be coming in years from now and probably picking up this run. And when you have a general comic book person, people that don't like study it or involve themselves like we do, they're going to come in and say, oh, I heard the, Zdarsky and Chichetto run's good. Get me volume 1. And then it does kind of create an issue of like, okay, cool. So you need to get this volume 1. You're going to go volume 1 through this. You're going to want to read this other title. Then you're going to want to read this Elektra title, which is technically Daredevil as well. And then you're going to get volume 1 of Zdarsky and Chichetto again. Like we talk about why customers don't come in. We make it so confusing for them. That's my
degree more. We do have a super chat that came in from King KDI, and it says Josh should raise his hand and say, when the hand goes up, close your mouth. I would say your mouth goes shut, but open your ears, retcon or total DC reboot. I think they just need a reset.
Yeah, I think a reset and a redefinition. I will say I get very passionate. So if I ever like jump in on something, it's not personal. So, please don't ever take it to heart. My whole thing is I want to make sure people understand where I'm coming from.
No, I'm pissed off.
He's looking right at you. It's pretty intimidating.
Why is Jimmy in your house?
That would actually kind of funny.
You know what? You don't have to worry about our relationship like that, okay, Doc?
Oh, okay.
What do you think, Drew? Is this a good move? Obviously, it is going to bump up sales for the #1 issue.
Yeah, and this is what I just mentioned a few minutes ago. I mean, I really starting to think this crap is just a ploy to boost the #1s to sucker in the retailers to do store exclusives like us at Comics Elite. And I'm very curious to see how many boring and bland generic #1s we're going to give Daredevil standing on a rooftop. And it's just I'm tired of
You're forgetting the
2 Daredevils standing on a rooftop. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, we found
you're
this
forgetting
random
the Momoko and the young variants and Inhook
random Jack Kirby
the
picture
Raza.
that they've had for 5,000 years that they're just like, hey,
that's the 500.
Yeah, the hidden gem. That's the hidden gem.
Yeah,
the Jim or the Jim Jusko Marvel masterpieces from
Joe
the
Jusko,
Joe Jusko, that's his name, from the Marvel Masterpiece 1993.
Some of those
card
are
series.
Awesome though.
Yeah,
that thing one that they had on the Fantastic Four was awesome.
Yes, it was. And the White Queen, White Queen you had on the Inferno, it was really damn good too.
One of the things I've heard it was a different perspective than the one I personally have, is that they are noticing potentially Marvel that there's an increased interest in Daredevil, and they want them to think after Devil's Reign that it's a jumping on point rather than a continuation of a story that they've missed out on.
I hope that's the case. We were talking about Devil's Reign and how that could be like an ending or even a jumping on point at the end of that to the next title. Hopefully there's something for the person that's bought Daredevil that's going to hook them into the next one. And since we've got this Daredevil heat, I mean, I totally forgot about like the television talk and whatnot. Hopefully by the time that happens, it's all about collections and that stuff being available. When they put it out, it'll be like Daredevil season 1 Zdarsky and Daredevil season 2s of Zdarsky. And It will be fine unless Marvel changes the trade dressing like they always do.
Can you imagine? If like a TV show in the middle of like their 10 season run, so like season 5, they go, "We're rebooting, but it's the same story. This is a jumping on point."
Yeah,
Yeah, they're gonna call it season 1 again.
Yeah.
And they're gonna call the first episode of that the pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That,
Yeah.
look,
I'm
yeah,
getting Doctor Who flashbacks. Oh,
you're already yeah, good point. No, like, TV, I laugh at the Xerox of a Xerox of a Xerox. It's like the like in watching Multiplicity, and then the one that's the clone of the clone, that's kind of the slow one. Or comic books were able to do like a weekly, monthly release schedule. TV tried to emulate the storytelling, but are limited by budget, actors, people taking vacations, seasons, and whatnot. So they had to create seasons for it. So comics then decided to copy the copy of comics, and that's why it sucks now.
Not gonna lie, I totally phased out halfway through what you're saying.
Yep,
Probably. All right. Most people did.
Most people do.
We do have a couple more topics to get to. We do have a new general manager and senior vice president at DC Comics and DPs. Obviously, Josh, you are the DC aficionado. What do you think about this hiring? What does it say about, obviously, after the departure of David Cherry?
I mean, she's coming from within DC. So I think that's already a step in the right direction. I'm not too familiar with the work she's done or what she's influenced or kind of had her hands in. So I whether I'm hopeful or not remains to be seen. I don't know. Like, hopefully there is a reason they're picking her. Hopefully they saw something, or she was bringing something to the table for them to recognize, okay, this is what we need for the company, and that we'll see some type of growth. And I think at this point, any type of growth or any type of direction is better than what we've got.
But the one caveat I have, just reading the resume and the job description, is that if you're, as a reader, if you're hoping for a change at DC Comics based on creative or whatnot, you're probably not going to get that at least immediately from this person, because they haven't really had a hand in that before.
I don't think anything's going to change until Jim Lee leaves his position, because right now it seems like they say he's got full control of like the creative vision, but everything that's come out the past 2 years from them has either been subpar or just crap. I mean, we got a couple gems here and there, but it's just like we didn't get, like, again, look what Jeff Johns did with DC Rebirth. The whole line was good. He had a vision. Jim Lee does not have a vision.
I figured it out. You know what the best way that Jim could solve the problems of DC? He could solve it the same way he solved the problems of Wildstorm. Hire Warren Ellis.
I don't see that happening, Doc. I think he's...
Yeah, but he fixed Wildstorm and turned it into the thing that DC actually wanted to buy.
Wasn't Warren Ellis writing that? Wasn't Warren Ellis writing that Wildcats series like 5 years ago? That
it was like 3
years ago that went nowhere.
He did the Wildstorm.
The Wildstorm. Okay,
it shipped I think it was like 80,000 units to issue 1, and then it dropped like way more than it should have.
Well, I'll say this: although I didn't hate it, the art was not very good. Solid.
No.
and they
like
tried
if Jim
to
Lee
make
was drawing it would be.
They also did it like it was on a television budget. It
was
literally done
bland, generic. It just nothing was exciting about it.
There was nothing super about it. It was
or colorful. It was just
it was literally done to be like you could shoot every single scene of that on a TV budget. That's the entire thing. There was nothing super heroic about. You didn't even need fucking CGI for that thing.
Yeah. So I don't know. What are your thoughts, Drew? Obviously, from a retailer perspective, were you excited about this change? It felt like they were playing it safe and hiring from within because they didn't want to get burned before the Discovery merger.
Yeah, I mean, like Josh, I feel more enthused with her coming on board than Daniel Cherry. I'll say that. I mean, like you said, she's coming from within the company. From what it sounds like, she knows what's going on in DC Comics, but it's going to take a minute to get her feet wet. But I really do hope she holds people accountable. That's the thing. hopefully she starts putting people's feet to the fire if they're not doing a good job. That's what we need. And we'll see what happens with her, but I'm more enthused with her on board than with Daniel Cherry. I'll say that.
You are putting your hope in the wrong people, my friend. No, that's not going to happen.
Better than Daniel Cherry.
No, I'm saying she's not going to hold anyone accountable.
Well, you don't know that, Jimmy. We don't know that.
They're all pompous. That's not going to change.
We'll see what happens, and if she doesn't, I'll say I'm wrong. But we don't know yet.
I think this is a bit of a catch-22. Daniel Cherry was never going to be able to have any good impact because he doesn't know fucking comics.
Mm-hmm.
And because if he was any good at his job after working at global brands like Nike and the NHL, he wouldn't be in fucking comics. But at the same time, hiring someone from within, you have the same flaws of them not recognizing all the fucking problems that exist in their own industry and not doing anything to fix them.
It's certainly not quite as daring as when they hired Jeanette Kahn, from the publishing industry. Certainly no real experience with comics, but they had a lot of experience within the publishing industry. They had new ideas and new or different ways that they could expand things. I don't know that they've hired someone like that, really, Yule. You know what I mean?
I like the idea of hiring from within. It gives me the idea again, like I was all, they're golden goosing it and everything. If you'd hire from outside, if you're gonna what's that guy's name in WWE? Nick Khan. Nick Khan it. If you're getting ready to kill it,
getting ready to
sell it off. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to this stuff too much. I got to admit, I've been listening to you guys talk about it. I don't have a fully formed opinion. I mean, if it's just from within and it's like the same like corporate, someone said it before, if it's like the corporate mandate, they're going to do whatever they're supposed to do. And I'm sure that's all it's going to be, right?
Yeah, likely. We got Common Sense chiming in with the super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Warren Ellis wrote Wildstorm 2017 and he planned a sequel, Wildcats, but it got canceled before DC even released. That is correct.
Oh my God.
But
that's what we avoided.
Yeah,
it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's but the reason why is because his fucking artist couldn't quit, yelling at people on Twitter to actually draw them.
That dude's slow. That dude's slow AF.
And Warren Ellis called him out on it. I forgot about that.
Like, draw my fucking comic.
Maybe DC knew also. They're like, that's not
what was the other Wildstorm book that Brian Hill was writing? It was Michael.
Oh, it was the Wildstorm, Michael Cray, because they didn't want to call it Deathblow.
It was good for like 5 issues, and then it just went somewhere weird.
That was a art situation, also.
It was
wonderful.
Honestly, I'm sorry, that was a terrible book. All it was just have, hey, look, there's people with the same names as DC characters in this other universe.
It's kind of like I was saying before,
vaguely similar, and then we need to kill them.
Yeah, kill Green Arrow, man.
Yeah, I remember that. It was a fun little twist, on things. It made it interesting. You didn't know what to expect, which made it kind of fun.
You knew exactly what to expect. A different DC character getting killed by Deathblow every week.
It was fine for 5 issues, and it kind of went off the tracks when it tried to do something a little bit bigger. We also got King KDI. Thank you so much for supporting us all the way out in Europe. From the UK. A hire from within. Let's be honest, DC staff don't understand their own problems. DC still don't have a sole vision for the company. Stopgap hire. That's probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards too.
That's pretty good one right there.
Josh, you seem to have an emotional reaction there.
No, I was just going to say, I'm sure there are people that actually have vision. And look, I'm going to try to be as hopeful as possible when you have these executive changes. And I think the problem is we've had people without a vision, and I keep hoping you're going to get someone with some type of vision. She's not going to be the creative force. She's not going to be the creative role. But she could come in and say, like, oh, all right, like, we're not succeeding because we have too many books. Editors are doing too much. They can't do their jobs properly. So we're going to take this action. Hey, you guys need to get off social media. And she can't really do it with the writers, but with editors and stuff, you need to get off social media, focus on your books. We're hearing from writers. They're not hearing from you. She can come in and do that. And that's what I'm hoping we get. And that should at least clean some things up.
But isn't that Marie Javin's job, and that she's failing at it?
Yeah, but yes, because she is the head editor. But if DePies comes in and she's above her and she's a general manager and she's running the structure of the business
I
of
know.
DC Comics,
She can yell at Marie Javins.
correct, or replace Marie, like whatever
Yeah.
needs to happen. You just got to get someone with a backbone to come in and actually do their job. Like I get, we want to see everyone succeed, but if everyone's failing, the company's going to fail and you're going to fail. Hopefully someone gets in there and they're smart enough to say, like, my job depends on me doing a good job. You're sucking, get it together or you're gone. Like,
You need to stop running it like a charity. It
Yes.
has to run like a charity.
absolutely.
Does anyone else have anything to say about the new DC general manager before we get to the most controversial video of the week?
Well, actually, my last comment on it is literally fucking who.
Let's see
There's
what
nothing
happens.
wrong with
But
that. It's an executive hire.
That's fine. I mean, but it's still literally who. Okay,
let's see what
I'll
happens by like around August. Let's see where we're at, like in August time frame, and then
Yeah, she's been with the DC since around the time of New 52, I believe, which doesn't really give me a lot of hope, unless she had any involvement with Rebirth. That would maybe give me a little hope, but otherwise, it's just somebody to fill a job. I don't care.
We got Paul Ebb, been a DC fan for over 35 years. Makes me sad to see where we're at. We're missing Dan Didio yet.
Yes.
Sounds like someone said something I said earlier. What? Pretty sure I said the same thing.
But I bet maybe he wasn't even here yet. I don't think anyone's like stealing your thunder.
No. What I'm saying is, I'm happy someone agrees with me.
And after talking to Dan at MegaCon, it sounds like he's in a happier place being gone now.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's happy now.
Yeah, he's working at the Art Institute, right, over in New York. The
Kubert School.
Kubert School, yeah.
Mhm.
That sounds like a good spot for him.
Yeah,
But
double-edged.
at least when you had
double-edged sword there.
Didio, he was out there talking to people, and there was a face to the franchise. There's no one out there
Agreed.
communicating. I think that's a big issue right now. So,
Yeah.
Well said, Paul. Let's get into this. This video was so controversial. I couldn't get my head around it. And I decided, if we're gonna have Jimmy on the channel, we need to talk about this controversial video that he made. He decided to tier up the best comic writers of all times. You tiered up Brian Michael Bendis and Jason Aaron over Frank Miller.
I don't like
you didn't
Frank
even
Miller.
it doesn't matter. Your biases are getting the best of you.
I told you in the video it was
You
my
didn't put-
personal list.
No,
You
you
didn't
said
put
it was
John Byrne
definitive.
on- Yeah, it does say definitive, and you didn't.
It is
put
also
Chris
definitive.
Claremont on there. There's no
Chris Claremont's on.
Eisner. It's like what? There's no Roger Stern. What the hell happened to you?
No, Roger Stern was on there. He forgot who Roger Stern was.
Yeah.
Next time, just use words, not pictures.
I just because it was like I don't remember who these two guys are. I made this list. Oh well, and then it keeps going.
So, dude he's doing
Can
like
I
a
tell you
baseball
something?
slotting. He has superior A, B, C, and F. No D's.
I can tell you something. I just know how to make YouTube videos that'll get views for this like crappy content.
That's fine. I mean, I understand.
Well, we're just
being,
gonna hold your
edgy
feet
and
to the
all.
fire, so you're
Did
accountable
you-
to your words.
Did
But you
see
put
the
Jack Kirby as
thumbnail?
writer up on the superior. I mean, maybe a creator and an inventor, somebody important
Jason
in
Aaron
comics,
is one of
but
the
you
5
were
best writers of all time.
you were ranking writers, and you
Yes.
put Jack Kirby up in superior. The thing is, like when a person does this and then comes on a show, like if it was in normal life, and you and me, Jimmy, we were talking about who our favorite people were. My very next question after I hear something like Jack Kirby is, a superior writer, I'd be like, oh my God, I need to know who your next, who's right behind him, that type of thing. or I might hold your feet to the fire and say, what have you fucking read of Jack Kirby?
King
Well,
KDI
okay.
wants to know, were you drunk?
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, I wasn't drunk. I did this totally
Were
sober.
you doing drugs? Were you smoking marijuana cigarettes? What happened?
No, I was-
Marijuana has never made somebody say some of the things he said.
What's totally wrong with my video? I mean, like,
Oh,
Wait. It was
Oh.
filmed. I mean, that was the beginning right there.
Guys,
Did
I said,
anyone- Oh, go
I
ahead,
need to
Michael.
get I should have screenshotted what your
That's what I was gonna
rankings were.
say.
just
I'm
pull
gonna
it
get
up.
that
Just
right
pull it
now.
up.
Jeez.
Did
I'll do
someone
it.
Screenshot the final rankings.
Here,
Yeah,
I'll
because,
back out.
like,
I'll get it. I'll get it. Guys.
This
You know
guy,
what?
it's
Everyone in the
amazing.
chat,
You
just
put
go watch
Walt
it.
Simonson on the B slot, I think, or was it C? I can't remember. Like Walt Simonson, and this is the problem, Jimmy. No, seriously, I'm being really realistic, and it's not with you. When we're ranking people as writers, a lot of times they're artists of the books also. So some of our favorite things also are in conjunction with their art. So if you're not a fan necessarily of Walt Simonson, because there was a time I was stupid too, I would be like, you know, I don't like this as much, but you know, ranking like, and then you're like, oh, this is like one of the all-time greatest, or you're like, I haven't read so much of this person, and then I rank them in this, you know, don't rank them. You know, you're taking all these people that people expect you to rank, but if you haven't read them, I wouldn't have. I would suggest not having done that.
I've taken advice from a fellow YouTuber named Comics by Perch.
Yes, sir.
He told me personally, if you ever want to get people to comment on your videos,
Be wrong.
actually, yes.
He did. I totally agree. That's why I don't
mispronounce
like
a
try and pronounce
name.
things always great. Yeah.
Yeah, mispronounce a name, do some weird choices, anything. And then people will comment on your video telling you what you did wrong, and that'll help with the algorithm. So just pull up the thumbnail. You'll see this is a clickbait video, my friends. I put Stan Lee at the very bottom in the thumbnail. What did you expect?
I expected more than what I got. That's what I expected.
Yeah, I can't please everyone.
I need it real. No. I
here's
think
the
it
thing. Was
invites.
it entertaining?
No,
That's what
it's
I
totally
tried to do.
entertaining. It's a great video.
It was like watching a car crash.
It kind of was. It was like
In slow motion.
ooh.
Yes.
Here we go. Here's the full list.
Oh yeah. Firstly,
we've
you
got-
did it by pictures, and I was like,
This is how you
Frank
this,
Miller's
this is a tier
on the
list thing.
same line as Matt Fraction. I want to try and
And
think of-
Mark Wade.
I have enjoyed Matt Fraction's writing.
Okay, to make
But
you even
could
more
I
upset.
have
Rick
possibly
Vendors with
liked
Kelly
more
Sue
than
Sonic and
Frank
No,
Tom
no,
Miller?
King?
stop. It's not to make you more upset there, Yul. It's not just on the same line.
It's
I put
above
that.
him.
I put that in order.
No, I like that. Who's right next to Frank on the left?
Oh, that's Marv Wolfman.
Oh, Marv Wolfman's wow. You know, but the thing is like I could have a total argument for why you're completely okay in putting him on the B level. But man, there's some other ones that are there that like, oh man, just because you have no real true knowledge of Grant Morrison's doesn't mean you shouldn't
See-
just take it off altogether.
See, once I'm
Hey,
done
wait.
filming, I
It's
know
like a
that's
key
Roger
there for me.
Stern.
How
Once
dare
I'm done
you, Doc?
filming,
I'm not fighting with you right now.
Wait, is that Joe Glass next to Stan Lee?
Is it?
what? No, that's Jack Kirby.
That's Jason Aaron.
Jason Aaron.
Never mind. Oops.
Superior.
Joe
Man,
Glass
if you
will probably have a better shot at being in the superior tier than Jason Aaron.
look at these guys. Alan Moore, you got, I mean, these are great. And Kirkman, you put Mignola on the top. Is that what you did?
Yeah, he's the greatest of all time. I love him.
You aren't really super serious though, right?
Yeah, I am.
As a
That's
writer.
As a
We're
writer,
not talking about as an artist also.
As a writer, yeah.
you're high.
No,
gonna bring
apparently
on
you
John
haven't
Byrne
read.
to help him
Apparently, I'm hearing people who haven't read all of Hellboy. That's
Well,
what I'm hearing.
This
I've
is
read
true.
enough
You
Hellboy
are-
to know that
He had John
You're
Byrne
right.
helping him.
In the
Yeah.
first volume, and it wasn't that he didn't know. Oh God, you guys don't know the history. It's fine. I
No,
don't
no,
need to
no,
get
no,
into
no.
it.
I've read enough Hellboy to know he's a good. He doesn't deserve to be on the A team. Sorry.
Can I
Well,
At
he's
the
say-
very
above the A
front of
team.
the
He's
A
on
team.
superior.
Or
It's
C
ju-
S team.
It's my. This is my personal list. This is my favorite list. It's not
It's
like
definitive.
I said that as a joke.
Well,
You put
I mean,
Rick Remender underneath Matt
you're
Fraction.
wrong.
How could you do that?
I'm not a big Rick Remender fan.
That doesn't matter. It's a list. You got to take your biases out and acknowledge
speaking
crap.
of biases,
This was
he put-
100% bias. This is what
speaking
this
of
is.
his biases, he put Dan Slott in the F category. Come on,
Because
seriously.
he was mean to him.
Okay, so we can't agree on that, guys. You get a badger.
Well, I have
Dan
enjoyed Dan
Slott had
Slott
some
in the
good
past.
Ren and Stimpy comics. I don't think Kelly Sue DeConnick has written a good comic.
That's a good point.
No, Kelly Sue DeConnick has written her
What?
Aquaman actually wasn't too bad.
Her Aquaman drove down sales. She effectively killed the series.
Hey man,
Yes, it drove
Most
down
Strange
sales, but it
never
wasn't
got
too bad.
ratings, okay.
It drove sales to the point of cancellation from being one of their pretty mid-selling books to cancellation.
Dan Abnett's had that book selling about 35,000 copies a month before he left.
I like Crazy O Hazard 69 in the chat. Stop being biased to agree with me. Exactly. That's what this whole thing is.
Exactly.
This was a ruse to get me on here just to yell at me.
I like it.
Yeah, that's
It was a good move.
You're just upset. You're just upset you didn't think of the video because you know what's great about this video? That thumbnail's good enough to where this is going to be one that grows over time.
Over time.
Well,
Gonna,
Well,
we-
hopefully
talk
it
behind the
grows
scenes,
by
get
however
some
many
advice and
people are
advice on
watching
how to get
this.
that stuff to work. But I'm just saying, you read Joy Operations #1. You read Sueprman. Did you read Checkmate or did you read Event Leviathan? Did you read Civil War 2?
Yes, I read.
I
would-
those.
I would
I would just like to Joe
so bad.
Joe Corrallo's in the comments, and he put a very
Uh-oh.
nice comment in there that I think should be promoted.
Exactly.
Are you
Look.
really disappointed though? I mean,
look, Bendis.
it's expected though.
Well, I feel bad
Can
for
you be
Eric
disappointed when
Green.
it's expected?
Bendis
Green
should
has been
be-
working with Jimmy for 2 years now to help him with his knowledge of comic books, and this is how he treats him.
What was the greatest what was that mini series, that Marvel mini series that you think is like one, was it Infinite Crusade or something like that?
Oh,
or-
Marvel! No, the Marvel miniseries, the best of all time.
Yeah.
Jonathan Hickman's Shield.
I don't remember you saying that
Nah.
back in the day. There was something like from like the 90s or something.
Oh,
like
are you
that.
talking about my favorite event? Oh, that's Infinity Wars.
And who did that? It was Jim Starlin. Was he
Jim
on your
Starlin,
list?
Ron Mars.
Was he on your list?
Damn it! I forgot to put him on.
Just Starlin's good because he actually wrote really good Batman too.
I
That's
also
a well-rounded writer. That's why
I also forgot to put Jurgens on there too, and Jurgen, like I love Jurgen.
Everybody
Yet
give
you-
this
yet
video
you-
a thumbs up for that, by the way.
Yet you still put fucking Mark Wade on it
because I was.
because you
He
were
was
That's how you
high at
bring
the
the-
time.
that's
We've all
the
made
clickbait
mistakes
part,
when we were
Doc.
high.
I got it.
I love the point where he's talking about something Thor, and then he's like, "Oh, Donnie Cates should be on this list." Oh well.
yeah like
You
I mean-
forgot Roger Stern.
Yeah.
I won't forget that. I'll never.
Sam Humphries is also
Bro,
really nice.
If the names were
Tim
there,
Humphries
they'd be
is super
fine.
nice.
But this is a picture tier list making
Ben-
Well,
machine.
you forgot their pictures.
Bendis.
Oh, you forgot. Yeah, the Roger Stern. There's so many people that you forgot on the list.
Bro, I can't remember everyone who's ever written everything.
Google
It's
it.
not your favorite thing, right?
Instead, you have a shit ton of recency bias, and you put clowns like Jason Aaron on that list.
Well,
He's
it's
superior.
let's
Time
put
out.
him on the
If he-
list, but
if he
like
had full
S level.
I put Dan Slott on the list for a joke.
If he had recency bias, Bendis would not be where he is.
That's what I don't get. You read Joy Operations. I had Doc and I review it on Monday. It's all
Basically, what I'm saying, Jimmy, is go and do your homework again and bring it to teachers, and we'll let you know how it is.
I am never coming on this place ever again.
What? That is. I don't want you to feel like that, man. We
Come
got
on,
Oh,
look at-
chill,
this is
chill.
a
That was a-
showcase for you.
Yes.
Joke. It was a joke. It was a joke.
Everyone should go watch that video just for the entertainment factor.
Absolutely.
That's the only reason I'm making YouTube videos, to entertain. I don't care if I'm right or wrong.
Sam Humphries is better than Bendis. Common sense has a point here.
No, stop. Stop. No.
And Sam Humphries licks fucking balls.
No, all the
got
time.
another
Dude, I think
Yes,
it's when he
every
does that.
single time.
No,
Nah, he's
I
had some
enjoyed his
good
Green
stuff out
Lantern
there.
stuff.
Yeah, his
'Cause,
Green Lanterns was good.
he did really good stuff there because like he didn't write for the trade. It was Rebirth, so it was good.
His his Green Lantern stuff was solid. He had moments during his Nightwing story that were excellent. Story structure was a little off, but
You know what?
he does solid work. And he's you'll mention this earlier. He's a super nice guy, and when you talk to him, you just see his love for comics. So,
You
Dude,
know,
he sent me
guys,
like signed comics for like
Guys,
no
you
reason.
you guys need to do one.
you
You
know
guys
what?
need to do a tier list. Make your own. Put all the people I forgot on there.
I'm going
think-
to.
and then
I'm
make
going
it.
to.
I figured something out on this. You nailed something on there that I don't think you intended to do. Mark
Okay.
Waid does belong on there as the guy that whatever publisher he's working at, not to buy at that time. Because that means that publisher sucks right now.
Corallo wants to know, was Bill Loeb's, Mesner
Ooh.
Loeb's on the list?
Ooh.
I'm betting Jimmy doesn't even know who Bill Mesner Loebs is.
Oh no.
You know what?
He was
Joe?
the guy
Perez?
before Mark Waid.
No. You know what? Joe Corallo, my friend Joe. Yes, he is. You should go watch the video and you'll see where I put him.
It's a straight up lie.
No, he's totally on there. I remember when he wrote.
Oh man, did you ever read his journey, which is like about the group? You remember when
Nope.
they did like a video game and stuff like that?
Nope.
Bill Mesner Loebs wrote and drew Journey, and
Nope.
there's the Steve Perry issue. Was like, wow.
I can't believe you put Jason Aaron over Jeff Johns. That's offensive.
No, it's not.
If you're going with modern writers, Jeff Johns wrote it. He led and orchestrated an entire line that was almost perfect. Jason Aaron couldn't write.
Bendis
forward for
did
more
the
than-
same thing, and you guys hate him.
That was 10 years ago.
So what?
Civil War II.
Jeff Jones was like
Superman,
what, 5
Man of
years
Steel.
ago?
Hey, did you even have like David McElhaney
Tuesday
or
Clock.
Len Wein on this list?
No,
I think Len Wein was on there, wasn't he?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I don't
No.
think so.
Guys,
there wasn't
you
Archie
can go
Goodshit
on-
either. Like,
J.M.
we can-
DeMatteis?
we can go on and on about how many people aren't on the list.
Keith
I
Geffen.
think
There's no
think
Peter
this
Davis.
is- this
David
is
Well,
a
I mean, this
great-
is the people that he wants to put on his list. So I
This
mean, we
is a
don't
good
have. It's not
opportunity.
every comic creator ever.
Greg Monick.
Chris Claremont?
This is a good opportunity to look at the people who are on the list and be like, you know what? I'm happy he remembered that guy. Look at,
Well, I'm
And
not
two
happy
women.
about Roger Stern.
he was on the
I
list.
didn't see
but
Alex
just below it.
DeCampi on that list. You know, I didn't see. I didn't
J-
see
you know what?
Raina
I didn't
Telgemeier on
I
that
didn't see
list.
Tim Sheridan. There's
I
no
didn't
Tim
see
Sheridan
Dav
on the list?
Pilkey on that list. You know, I didn't see every. What about Ramiko Tuck? Oh, I can't remember the name.
Mariko
He tried to
Tamaki?
use a manga name. He couldn't do it.
I can't remember. I was trying to be all perch. Ranma 1/2 one. Anyway,
You know
You know what?
You know
If they
who
weren't
really
on the list,
belongs
they
on
weren't
that
good
list? Who really belongs on that list but isn't there?
I see it. Chuck Austin right there.
No, Tinny Howard.
Teeny
Ooh.
Howard. Come
You know
on,
what?
man.
I wish I
Leah Williams
remembered-
boobs.
I
Just
wish-
her boobs.
I wish I remembered Jodie Hauser, because the book
Why?
she's writing.
You like Faith, huh?
no,
Doctor
Doctor
nobody
Who.
remembers Jodie Hauser.
Jodie Hauser's Doctor
Jodie
Who book.
I
Hauser
remember
doesn't
Has been
remember Jodie
amazing.
Hauser. Jodie Hauser doesn't remember Jodie Hauser.
Poor Jody.
She wrote
Yeah,
a pretty
Rumiko
decent
Takahashi, I was getting it
adaptation
right.
of the Thrawn trilogy. That's pretty good.
She's a good on Star Wars. She's good on Doctor Who.
You know
more
what?
do you need?
Yeah, but it's an
dorks?
adaptation. It wasn't an
IPs.
original
Come on.
story.
But let's
It
be
was-
honest. Brandon fucking Choi was better than most of the people on that list.
Brandon Choi. Wow. I mean, I thought his stuff was pretty clunky, don't you?
It was, and
I
so
mean,
were most
really
of the
good.
writers that are on that list.
And Jim's all, go ahead, it's fine. Just like he is now at DC.
No Nick
Guys.
Spencer. No James Tynan.
I have
Mm.
work. I have work in 4 minutes, so I gotta go.
Bye.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hold you up.
No, it's good. It's good. No, it's
I
good.
appreciate your
Wow,
service, sir.
he hasn't had
Appreciate it.
sleep yet either.
No, and I work till 3, so it's somewhat a short day.
All right. Well,
Either way, I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.
bye,
doing,
Jimmy.
Jeez, I can't believe you guys are such dicks to Jimmy.
I know, you didn't pile on at all.
Yep.
I was
Never.
defending the man.
Well, I give his
that was a crazy list. It was
I
funny.
give his report a D+. There you go.
He's got a knack for fiction. I'll say that. Oh,
I saw the video and I looked in there. I was like, "What?" I was like, "No, I got it. We got to talk about that." So that was fun stuff. We got something else to talk about. We've got the 10 Deaths of Wolverine. Finally came out here. Obviously, this is the follow up to the 10 Lives, the big crossover X-Men event. Doc and I are going to review this on the channel in full tomorrow, along with X-Men #7. Let's hear from the retailers. Drew, you read everything.
Oh, yes, I did. I read this, and I remember reading it, going through it again, and asking Kyle and Sean, I'm like, isn't this supposed to be about Wolverine? Because on the title, it's supposed to be about Wolverine, and he's literally on the last page or second to last page. It's mostly Moira, the comic, or Informer Part 2. This is a complete bait and switch. And if I were a reader expecting Wolverine, I would be pissed.
In fairness,
what do you think about that, Yule? Did you read it?
No, I didn't. Actually, I read X Lives, and
terrible.
I was underwhelmed. I mean, I thought that umbilical cord scene was pretty hilarious.
Yes.
So it worked for me. I thought
don't think it's
Wolverine was
supposed
just
to be
going to be
funny.
like slice it off, and yeah, but that was pretty funny. But I don't really have any desire to read this one, and I don't think I'm going to keep my Wolverine readers all the way through. But there's some people. Let's be real. People that read X books are
We're
some
dumb.
are very happy. Some are
They're
kind
fanatical.
of like getting fanatical right now. And if you're reading Marauders, you might as well read this too.
We're a glutton. We're gluttons for fucking punishment.
Yes.
That's what we
Yeah.
are. And
Marauders
we
is
all,
much worse than Deaths of Wolverine.
I mean, and that's the thing. Like, if you're a store and you're saying, "Well, I'm not gonna buy DC," and people are thanking you for it, do you think the X fans will probably thank you in the long run for not getting that crap too? But I need the connecting cover.
So, Drew, if it wasn't called 10 Deaths of Wolverine and it was the 10 Deaths of Moira, the story itself is pretty good. Like,
Yes,
it makes
absolutely,
sense. It actually
yes.
falls right out Inferno.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's not like the 10 Lives of Wolverine where you're like, what the fuck is going on here? And then that
Yeah.
one is like, okay, we're in a big chase and she's running for her life.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. If it was built and sold as a Moira comic, you got me. It was a good comic. But when you do a complete, it is a bait and switch, saying it's the Deaths of Wolverine, and you're focusing 95% of the comic on Moira post Inferno. That is, I don't know what it is other than a bait and switch.
All right, Josh, you are not the Marvel aficionado or the X-Men historian. What'd you think about the 10 Deaths of Wolverine? Did you feel like you got bait and switched?
I mean, definitely got bait and switched, but I'm in the same boat as you and Drew. Like, I actually enjoyed it and I didn't mind what I was getting. But it was one of those things that I was like reading it, and while reading it, I remember thinking like, why would you do this? Not because I didn't enjoy it, but because so many people are going to get mad just because they did it. So,
What'd you think of the art? I felt like pretty anime to me. It was way different than Cassera's art in the first one.
I will preface this by saying anime style art is typically not my favorite style of art. I am trying to broaden my idea of what's good. And I think of all people, Jorge Jimenez has kind of helped me with that to a degree. So I've learned he's got a slant to his art. That's
American manga. That's what we
Yeah.
call it.
So I've grown to appreciate it more. And because of that, it helped. If this were me 5 to 10 years ago, I would have hated it.
I would just say that if my choice is a Wolverine comic with no Wolverine versus the Wolverine comic that I got last week in Lives of Wolverine with Wolverine, I will take the Wolverine comic without Wolverine because it's a better comic than the Wolverine comic with Wolverine.
And you're right, Doc. It was a better comic than the one.
Absolutely.
And hey, I guess we're finally going to get to read Moira X miniseries.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to have. King KDI says, "When are the X books getting rebooted anyway? I hope soon." What's that happening, Doc?
Not soon enough.
The best time would be immediately after House and Powers, when based on what we got following that, the second best time is literally right fucking now. Like
I say by
literally
the end of
in
2023.
the middle of this event. Don't even finish it. Just don't even get to the next issue. Just fuck it. Everything's still going. Reboot.
Like an Age of Apocalypse situation where you don't even know it's just there.
Yes. Everything's still going on in all the other books, and then boom, the next month, everything's rebooted.
Age of Docpocalypse. It is just Doc wipes it out.
Yeah,
I think the thing about X-Men is if they like get the characters alive that you want to have alive, and then stick with that, and then get rid of this ability to grow mutants again.
Yeah,
it's
time to wipe out the 5 and just
I mean, good, because that means that that egg guy can get taken out. Goldballs is gonna get it.
Wholesale slaughter.
That'd be great. Just have to kill that dude alone. Boom, done.
Yeah, where's Cassandra Nova's Tri-Sentinel again? Because I think we need that son of a bitch back.
Oh man, just get on that island. Just go.
Yeah,
crazy.
we already did it once. Granted, it won't be as good as Frank Quitely's art doing it when we're getting Stuart Immonen clone number 7 doing it, or whoever's on the book this week. But yeah, I think we could do it.
Common Sense says the Lives of Moira idea did that with Ricky Barnes from the original Heroes Reborn, where she reincarnated and died over and over in different Earths. Is that like the Heroes Reborn TV show? Or is this your Heroes Reborn? The Heroes, yeah,
the Marvel Heroes Reborn when the Wildstorm or where Lee and Liefeld came back to do post
they rebooted and got rid of all the Avengers.
That was the Captain America sidekick, right?
Yeah, the girl.
And everybody was like, that was the thing when people like defended Rob Liefeld's ideas. They would always talk about this character and what never really happened ultimately with it and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't know if I care.
Once again,
Rob's cool and all, but
we still need the Nimrod is right. Because
Nimrod is my homeboy. I'm gonna make the T-shirt. It's gonna happen.
Oh,
but I've got my CM Punk shirt on right now because I like.
No. It's a play on the Magneto was right. T-shirt that Quentin Quire wore during Grant Morrison's
I would go
run.
Nimrod was right.
I want Nimrod is right because it's
right,
actually going on at the same time.
So present tense.
Yes, present tense because remember Magneto was dead at the time.
I'm fucking making that too.
So
I'm gonna
Nimrod is right.
And make that. I'm doing.
I want a Friends of Humanity comic with the humans just trying to take out the mutants. That's what I want. It's a Friends of Humanity comic.
Oh, wait until Wes and I get to reviewing our Marauders annual number 1 for this week for Worst of the Week. It's interesting.
Yes, it was. I remember reading that. Yeah. Jeez.
So, Josh, did you read the 10 Lives of Wolverine?
Unfortunately.
What did you think about this moment?
With the umbilical cord and
the comments were like, "That's what a mother would do." I was like, well, "You have never."
I had to show it to my
get
mom.
up on her feet and shotgun with her baby in her arms.
I had to show it to my mom. My mom had 4 boys. I had to show it to her, and she said, "A guy shooting laser beams out of his eyes is more believable than this." And I couldn't believe it. Yeah,
my wife had.
She had weak knees.
Yeah. I was literally wiping her ass for days because she couldn't take care of herself. But this lady's just like, pumping a shotgun.
Oh,
like
come on.
Sarah
That's
Connors.
adrenaline running through. I mean, not only did she just give birth, but now her life's on the line,
I'm just going to be honest.
It's just coursing. It's like those ladies that move trains and stuff,
As far as reading X-Men goes, I was late to reading House of X Powers of 10. And by the time I had read and finished that, the X-Men books had pretty much turned to garbage. So I was like, whoop, not wasting my time there. And then the first X-Men book that I picked up after that was like X Factor number 10. Was that what we covered?
Oh, yeah.
So I read that. And
I'm so sorry.
I have had PTSD since then. So every time we're covering an X-Men book, I legit am like, fuck my life. Like,
if you ever really want X-Men ruined for you, like permanently, read X Corp number 1. That is the worst X comic. That makes fucking Chuck Austin X-Men look like Claremont.
You need to read Extremis from the Age of X-Men event from Leah Williams, where they ship Blob and Psylocke.
Yep.
Is that the one where they had the opening conversation about a baking sheet, and it goes on for the entire book? They're like, no, it's not a baking sheet; it's a cookie sheet or something like that.
And then there's the silhouette of them two on top of a hill, and the blob looks like he's about to eat her.
Yeah.
That's the cover, right?
That's the cover on it. It's so bad. I'm like, wait, you really? This is fucking terrible.
Yeah. Now he's a chef, right, or something like that.
He's a bartender.
Oh, a bartender. Sorry.
He was in the X Deaths of Wolverine. But hey, Josh, at least you got to read a decent comic this week.
Yeah,
no,
I enjoyed this. There have been some decent X-Men comics since then, but I always approach it with caution. I cuss Wes's name every time I go to open an X-Men book because I'm like, this is not going to be good.
You don't have it as bad as Doc. I go out and pick out the worst.
Very true.
We read Joy Operations from Brian Michael Bendis this week. Did you read that one, Drew?
No, I didn't see that. I unfortunately missed that one.
Oh,
you should check it out. Maybe do a little supplemental. Common Sense says Brimstone Love was right.
Brimstone was right.
Kind of was, yes.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I'm not gonna undercut our video, Wes, but there's that fucking
a lot of
comic
truth
was
being
terrible.
spoken by Brimstone Love.
When Kyle and I did our reviews of the skip it's, and I mean, it was a skip it, but I mean, we were saying after reading, I'm like, Brimstone is very much right in this comic, and unfortunately, no one at Marvel sees this.
What did you think about the dude in the assless chaps and the dungeon gear? All he needed was an 8-ball in his mouth.
Wait, did Grant Morrison write this?
No.
Huh, interesting.
Steve Orlando.
Oh, I see.
What
Steve
the hell
Orlando.
is this dude doing here?
I like to say Steve Borlando. You know what I mean?
Oh, gosh.
You get it.
God, that guy's got to be like a plank of wood. Just there.
But it was a good week at X-Men. If you read the 10 Deaths of Wolverine, you read X-Men number 7, I think it is. They're both pretty good. Yeah. I would say so.
But yeah, no, I think if we have a choice now, I will take, especially with how terrible and how much the first issue of this thing didn't make sense. Remember, time travel Cerebro and apparently time travel possession Omega Red. That none of it makes any fucking sense. At least this comic made slightly more sense, except for apparently you could trick facial recognition with a haircut.
It happens. So. All right. We got anything else to say about the 10 Deaths of Wolverine? We're going to call this one, we're going to make it shorter than normal. I kind of like that idea. All right.
Not much to really complain about.
Yeah, we already kicked Jimmy out the door. Let's do this. Let's get some recommendations in here. All right, Josh, what are you recommending this week? How many Batman books?
What was released?
Batman Catwoman special. You said it was 5 out of 5.
I did not. I made a joke that you said it's 5. I did say I enjoyed it, and I know Drew absolutely hated it. There are times when I think Tom King does what he's trying to do well, and I felt like he did a decent job with all the flashback stuff, and I enjoyed the stuff with Selena and Helena. I did mention that the present day and future Catwoman stuff I hated.
Drew, you're on my side, right?
I wanted to blow my brains out after reading. It was so depressing. It's so bleak and depressing.
I liked it 5 years ago when I read it the first time.
Just because it's bleak and depressing doesn't mean it's bad. I get that it's not.
It doesn't mean it's good either. I mean, I said it doesn't mean it's good in our video. I said it's not. It doesn't mean it's yeah.
But, I got you. I got you. I kind of compare it to my dog's going crazy again. I apologize. I kind of compare it to a Requiem for a Dream. Like it's such a depressing movie, and I'll say it's a great movie. I'm not watching it multiple times. I read that issue.
Wait, hold on. Does it make you always think ass to ass every time you see Jennifer Connelly? Because I've never.
Typically, when I think of Jennifer Connelly, I think of House of Sand and Fog. Since my dog's being a butt, I'm going to say my recommendation for this week is go pick up the hardcover of All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison. If you don't have it, just that is a guaranteed great read.
All right, there we go. All right, what do you recommend this week? Something Spider-Man related?
Definitely. The current issue, I think it's written by Zeb Wells, the new writer of Spider-Man soon. It was a really simple story, but it was Peter Parker mostly and Black Cat, and that's my era right there. So that was good. Along with All-Star Superman, DC put out Gen 13, the hardcover. It's like $50, and it's the first miniseries and the first 5 issues, plus like Gen 13 Zero, which has Travis Charest artwork in it. It's filthy with J. Scott Campbell and Grunge being a big old perv. So if you did that,
I need to wait until they release an absolute Gen 13.
Dude, this is a good, solid $50 book, and you're not going to need much more after that.
I want that oversized hardcover in the slipcase, though.
I hear you.
Yeah.
And one other thing from DC, Peacemaker was sweet. Garth Ennis. If you're a fan of The Punisher and dark stories about characters with guns, I think this is a good one for you.
Yeah, I would say if you've watched the TV series, don't go in that comic.
Nothing like the TV series.
Yes, nothing.
So what do you think about MJ being the new Black Cat?
Is that what's going to happen?
There was a one shot that tied into the. ASM.
Oh, is that thing just a one shot? I thought it was an actual series that was starting up. No wonder I didn't order it too.
What do you think, Drew? Was it good?
I didn't care. It was weird. It was very weird. Just especially when you get to the hood and this bag that I don't want to get. It is very strange. It was a very weird comic. Tonally, I didn't know what to think of it.
Wait, that's not her fighting with Spidey in '87, is it? That's really Felicia, right?
No, this one dealt with Mary Jane and Black Cat stealing something for the hood, stealing his hood back, and it gets weird. It goes off good. Right. I
have it set aside. J. Scott Campbell cover people.
All right, obviously, Drew. Tomorrow we're going to have our best comics of the week. Do you want to give people a little taste on something you would want to recommend?
I'm going to hold back, but I will say if you want to read some fun, crossovers from back in the day, read Acts of Vengeance.
Smacks of Vengeance.
Yes, this is a lot of fun. Love it.
All right, Doc. What are you recommending this week?
I'm actually going to recommend The Death of Moira X #1. And going to an alternate reality and reading a Alan Davis X-Men book.
Ooh. Yeah.
Or actually I will recommend, for the first time in my entire fucking life, I will recommend a generic Duggan X-Men book. X-Men 7 was a solid book.
All right.
Absolutely. Me personally, I recommend going to Kickstarter and backing Common America Volume 5. Right now, you can also get an omnibus available for that. If you can't do Kickstarter, it will be available eventually on Indiegogo. Also, we do have Here Comes Calico #4, which just finished up Kickstarter. Will be on Indiegogo eventually as well. And what's your next project, Drew? Seems like it's a monthly thing.
It's almost a monthly thing now. So issue 2 for Born of Blood should be coming out on Kickstarter in April, and then later this summer. I can't say specifically what it is, but I will say it's a project that involves a certain redhead with a sword coming out later this year.
Woohoo! All right, we're
exciting.
giving Annie a sword.
I love it.
Annie get her sword.
Yeah, she's gonna cut off that fucking rich guy's head. Whatever.
All right, we got
her money
Chuck
back.
Skill says do an Alan David retrospective. Chuck, I will keep that in mind. But if you really want to affect change on the comic book retrospective and get something in there, you need to talk to Joe Corallo or Eric Breen. They actually pick all the comic books that we end up covering there. Next up, what do we have? I have a list here. I can tell you what we're doing this in the very near future. Crisis on Earth Prime, a Justice League of America All-Star Squadron crossover event. And then X Factor will be coming out next week. Obviously, right now we've got the Flash versus Captain Cold retrospective that came out today. So thank you very much to everyone for supporting that. We had a great time today. A little bit shorter show. Had fun with Jimmy. I'm sorry he had to bounce out, but it sounded like he had to do a little bit of work. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Be rooting on the Chiefs. as they take on the. Who are they taking on? Oh, they're taking on the
Bungles.
Cincinnati,
Bungles.
Cincinnati
Bungles.
Bengals.
the Cincinnati.
That's Eric Green's team, so there's nothing I would like more than for Kansas City to just beat the overleading shit out of them.
Oh well, I've got an LA versus San Francisco game to have fun with.
Who are you rooting for?
I'm never rooting for San Francisco.
Well, you know, he's going for the front runner. He's going for the Rams.
That's right.
Everybody have a good weekend. We'll see you next week.
Bye.